Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news. Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, just don't unfriend me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's new.
Hey everybody, it's the chicks on the right here. We had such a blast on the Don't Unfriend Me show.
Check them out at The Dumb Show on social media or thedumbshow.com.
They stream weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern, and you guys, they are your people.
They totally are. And you can find us in all the places by visiting chicksontheright.com/links and watch us weekdays at 8 a.m. Eastern.
Come on, man. Can you feel the pain? Into him now. About this new world. Ain't no drag. Papa's got a brand new eye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
What is going on, everybody? Interesting thing, everybody. I'm over on X, and you get a warning now when we're live. And there's a chat on X. So if you guys are like, wait a second, we're interested in having a chat. X is right here with a live chat. Pretty cool. Yeah, there's Mel. Hi, all. Share and like. We have a live chat on X. That's pretty neat. I'm glad they added that. So keep an eye on it and make sure we all share. Oh my gosh, look at this. Now, X, we can share when somebody chats. Oh, this is going to revolutionize some things, folks. This is neat. People have the ability to actually say something because we're always in there. We're trying to get people to talk and they never can. So that's cool. So if you're over on X, go watch us live and go chat and go see about it. All right. Tyler Fisher is here tomorrow. Now, this will be interesting. It's going to be Ethan and I interviewing an amazing comedian, up-and-coming comedian. He's all over the world. He's been on every major channel, NBC, CBS, ABC, Fox. And he's a great dude. And the story is interesting how we came to meet, but he will be on Tyler Fish. And then Olivia and Hayden will be on Scene in Front Royal, where they are doing some really shady stuff. They all the ballots that were cast that night, we found out that they destroyed them. In the state of Virginia, you have to actually keep ballots for a year when there's contestation, which there was an appeal. There's a lot of nefarious stuff, rumors of paying people to actually show up and vote, things to this effect. I mean, there's some nasty stuff going on in this. So Olivia and Hayden are going to be down there. We'll be with Fish for about an hour, and then I'm going to kick him loose, let him off the hook. Funny. And then we're going to go ahead and jump over to them on FaceTime and see what's going on with the fam damily. So that gives you a rundown of that. Next is Damani Felder on Friday, and it is Jacket Giveaway Friday, so make sure you're here. Jackets and flag went out today. Hannah Pruder will be in-house. Amazing director who did an incredible video on October 7th, which we'll be showing before she comes. Lisa Regina will be here, talk about her new promotion and her new docuseries she's doing. Ben Morgan from Tonto's Vodka will be here, talk about the vodka process. Amber Hilliker from the Amber May Show. We're busy. Chad Prather has booked, and we are still in the process of getting Rip from Yellowstone, Cole Hauser. And it looks really, really good. We're just waiting on final word. I'm going to jump in and get Leroy in here, and we've got a show to do. And I always forget this one window, and I don't know why, but I do. But anyway, we're going to get Leroy in here. It's election night. We'll be covering some of that as well. I'm going to cut right back. Hold on and fix this window. And then we're going to get everybody in. So anyway, that's pretty much where we're at right now. And let's get to it because we've got a lot to do. $300 is up on the board. Overtime is officially reset. We hit it super fast last night. We really hope we do it again just like that so we can focus on the show. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I am hanging in there. And hey, to everyone watching, welcome to the Don't Unfriend Me Show. It's just Matt and I's time to hash over all things politics and current events and all that kind of good stuff. So it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, hold on. I got to do this real quick. There's this video that Olivia and I did. And you can hear me talking
way
in the
smaller.
Yeah, you can hear me talking in the background. There we go. So this video is supposed to do, let's see if I can get this. There we go. So you guys will see this pop up. So if she accidentally bumps into you, I apologize. But what else is going on? Anything else new and exciting?
Honestly, I've just been trying to keep up. Everything is so wishy-washy between ceasefires and what the hell's happening with the administration. Yeah. And I only have like a couple of months left in the Navy. So yeah, I have been busier than a one-legged man at an ass kicking contest. And it's, yeah, you got to be ready to punch out. Yeah, I am. Yeah. I'm getting there.
Well, all right. Well, we've got a busy show. So let's get, the first thing I wanted to address is, this is more of me just venting. And I think I'm going to. Yeah, I'm going to. People who know me know that I give as much as I possibly can. And it doesn't matter. I'm not looking for recognition. I'm not looking for any of that crap. I don't want that. But whether it's people I work with, whether it's people who are friends of mine or both, or peers in this industry, whatever it is, or guests, I always try to give as much as I can, whether it's putting a book behind me or doing videos for them or go ahead, Leroy.
No, I was just going to say, you've literally given me every computer that I'm currently working on, along with the camera and the lights and the mic and a stand. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and that's the least I can do for the time you put into the show, right? I mean, you deserve so much more, but we're in a position where we're growing a business and we've got plans over the next year of what we plan on doing, and the financial stuff comes. But it doesn't matter whether it's Damani or it doesn't matter whether it's Chris Martini or it's Barry or Tyler or Eli or the chicks on the right or whatever. I believe that when you do something for somebody, you should reciprocate. That's really important to me. And it's not that you have to elevate, but if you go to somebody and you tap that well and you're like, hey, I need this and I need this and I need it, and you're like, sure, dude, no problem. I got you. Eventually, those deposits and withdrawals that are transacting between that relationship, there might come a time where I might ask you of something for you for something. And if you don't fulfill it, screw you. That's the way I feel. And the relationships that I have with people like Ryan Weaver, it's always give. Every single person I just mentioned, give. And then I'm like trying to keep up and deposit into their bank. But there are a couple people who are in my circle who constantly want something from me and never give back. And I've asked, hey, can you cut me a video for an intro just saying, hey, welcome to the Dumb Show, blah, blah. You can catch me on this channel, which is just as much for you as it is for me. And And if I've been waiting for that for 6 months and you've asked me for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 things and you're not getting that response, it's because I've done something that I believe in, which I'm going to tell you about, which is a process. It's called an egg timer. I don't believe in removing people from my life unless it's the most extreme circumstances, but I will put people on an egg timer. And what that means is that if you continue to annoy me, I'll just say, okay, well, I'm going to wait 48 hours to respond. And then if it happens again, I'm going to 72. And then again, I'll go to a week. And then I'll go to a month. And then I just will give it a year. And then finally, I just won't respond ever again. So this has nothing to do with any listener. This has nothing to do with probably anyone you guys know or anyone watching. But it's important that when you withdraw from something, that you do whatever you can to give back, because it's called leaving something better than you found it. And I happen to be a believer in that. I don't know what your take is on that. I'm sure we all have those experiences, whether it be lending someone money or a tool and never getting it back or whatever it would be. But your thoughts on that whole ambiguous thing?
No, I mean, that's just good karma, right? Somebody does you a solid, they might, you shouldn't have to necessarily, propose something as a repayment, but if they ask for something, you try to make it happen.
Right. Or if you want to keep the relationship transactional, then ask for what you need and I'll give you a price. And then I won't care if you ever do anything for me again, because that's a business relationship and those are completely fine. But if we're going to be friends and it's going to be a scratch back thing, I can tell you how much Damani has done for me, how much Ryan's done for me, Barry. And what's great is they can do the same exact thing because we care about each other and there's a relationship there. So in this business, it's cutthroat and it gets frustrating when you see people constantly go to the well and want to have a friendship, but don't reciprocate that relationship. And I just don't have time for those people. And because my investment in your success goes to zero, like zero. I just don't care. But if you are a friend and a partner and you're somebody who works together, then like Damani's going to hit 1 million. And I'm so excited for him. Like, I can't even tell you how excited I am for him. There's not a bit of frustration or jealousy on that. And then there's other people who their success, they're constantly complaining and whining. And it's like, maybe you're your own worst enemy. And maybe you covet your time and covet your channel and covet what you create and you want to protect it and nobody else can get anything from it. And that's what's setting you back, is because you're not building relationships with people. Because I know when I share something, it gets shared by Tonto or gets shared by Barry or gets shared by the chicks and people reciprocate. And then I do the same. So anyway, it's a give or take relationship. It's just something that I was bringing up because egg timer.
Something's bugging you.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Anyway, but not that frustrating. We got some voting things going on here tonight. You got Mike Rodgers, who pretty much looks pretty good in his run in Michigan because he's uncontested. So unless a miracle takes place and a meteor decides to hit Michigan, he looks like he's gonna be uncontested. Now, Mike Rodgers is really interesting. Against Slotkin, he did really, really well and was very, very close. But here's the thing. Everyone is so like over the moon about this Abdul El Sayed, who is CSA, hates Jews, a horrible human being. And Haley Stevens, who honestly is a fake Michigander, she's like, oh, you betcha. I don't know what's going on over here. And you're just listening to her, you're like, come on, lady, that's not how you talk. But honestly, I think that actually helps Haley Stevens in this situation because Mallory McMorrow is in there too. And I think it's going to split some of the vote. And it's going to make it quite interesting. Go ahead, buddy.
I was watching a video earlier with Abdul El Sayed, and he was being interviewed by what looked like one of the Tate brothers, distant cousins. And they were talking about, what they envision for society. And it's always the same talking points when it's from the left, right? It's make sure that the wealthy pay their fair share, that everyone should be entitled to food or health care. And it's always those exact same talking points. And just now there's a headline from New York Magazine says Abdul El Sayed is running an ink race against a weak Mike Rodgers. And I just thought to myself, and if anybody is left in Michigan who is in any way, shape, or form remotely moderate, barring Dearborn, right? That there's that the race was obviously going to tip in the way of Mike Rodgers. I don't know. This Abdul El Sayed guy, he really rubbed me wrong, and
it's horrible.
And I hate the generic messaging. It's like the AOCs of the world when they talk about what's fair in society. Same language, just a different face.
Right. Well, that's the Democrat MO, right? Is change the verbiage, put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. Right. But that's the way they run. And Rodgers is actually in a heads up against El Sayed is actually more favorable. So to say that he's in a bad position, his polling numbers look good. Nobody wants a Democrat socialist. And although there might be a huge amount of support in Dearborn and other places, to assume that that's going to translate to the rest of the United States, I don't buy into that. Amy Klobuchar was a stretch for a lot of people. Kamala Harris was a stretch for a lot of people. And this is probably one of the reasons why Hillary Clinton lost the election, and Kamala, because they're both way too progressive. And America said, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to tolerate it. Are we there yet? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I hope we're still in a sense that we don't start embracing socialism and pretend that it's the same capitalistic run society with social programs that's in Denmark and Sweden. Because folks, here's the thing. If Canada would supply its own military, the United States could cut its defense budget by 25%, 40%. If South America and Mexico had a military that was worth a damn, we could also cut it by another 10, 20, 30%. But we literally have to protect an entire hemisphere. But not only that, we have to forward project the rest of the world. And the reason why is because we've been the world's police since World War II. And this has put us in extreme economic advantage, but there is a cost to that. So when you say, well, why is the United States the only major developed country without a healthcare system? Because we spend $1.2 trillion on defense. And we have already so many social programs that subsidize healthcare because we are giving subsidies for welfare, and we're a nanny state. If we could just take away welfare and take away WIC and take away some of these other subsidy programs, maybe we could have a healthcare system. Because if you look at the overall spend of the United States government, there's 3 areas that it spends its most money in: Social Security, healthcare, subsidy healthcare, and of course, defense. That's it. Mm-hmm. So if you want to have a national healthcare system and put government in charge who literally can't do anything right, I think that's a mistake. And the one thing they never say is, yes, the rest of the world might have healthcare, but if you take a look at the weights and you take a look at the system, people come to the United States for these type of surgeries, or they go to Sweden or Norway, these higher end countries that have incredible doctors and university and colleges, and we share that in common with Scandinavian countries because, once again, they don't have a defense. And honestly, they don't have a nanny state because what do? They literally abort anybody with Down syndrome or any birth defects.
That's true.
Go ahead.
Real quick, because there's 2 points that I want to add to real quick to what you were already discussing. Abdul Sayed and this viral video that came out recently with Bill Maher, where he was talking about the DSA and how he talked about how his vote was quote unquote in play. And then he proceeded to admonish the DSA.
Right.
And so
did Spanberger in Virginia, by the way.
I'm a little bit critical of that, right? Because, Bill Maher could have been doing that for the last 10 years. It's like he's just now realizing the craziness that has erupted in his own party. But it would be curious for me to know. I'd love to see a poll on how many Michiganders were influenced by that, and if that has pushed a needle in any way, shape, or form with the polling in, or the voting rather, in Michigan. And the other thing that I wanted to add, I saw a John Stossel special once where he talked about there is a specialized hospital just over the Canadian border in New York, I think, where they take the healthcare. They take the billing for the healthcare up in Canada, but they offer specialized healthcare services to Canadians who come to the U.S. for that specialized healthcare.
Right.
And I thought to myself, well, isn't that curious on why socialist healthcare doesn't seem to work?
Yes.
And where it's from, but and you have thousands of Canadians who come here annually to get that specialized health care in the land of capitalism. Never
Right.
made sense to me.
Yeah, Howie, Matty Howen, it says some dumbass just got arrested at Trump golf course ahead of a visit with a gun in the vehicle. Of course he did. Listen, the government is not good really at many things. And that's just the truth. And the bureaucracy, the red tape, and most importantly, the fraud that takes place inside the U.S. government makes things impossible to effectively and efficiently run. The private industry. Now here's the thing. Should the government get into healthcare? Sure, that's fine. But then you need to take the chains off of TRICARE and Tri-State Care. And you need to allow insurance companies not to be regionally zoned anymore based upon the demographics and the income of the people. And you need to start selling insurance that's strictly based out of California that would literally take care of the entire West. Or you need to allow all the states in the Midwest and the Rust Belt to join under one care program to share with the other states. Instead of having a state locality for insurance and you cannot sell insurance anywhere else, you should have every single state competing for the best insurance. And if that means California, because they have the largest population and the highest income, provides the best insurance in the United States, then so be it. I don't give a shit. But I should be able to go ahead and take those benefits. The reason why is because they're drinking lines of my water, or they're drinking the wheat that we harvest or the cattle that we harvest, because this is the ebb and flow of free trade in the United States, is that, yes, they may provide industry, they may provide infrastructure, they may provide revenue, but the food and the drinks and the textiles and the fabric and everything else that you want comes from the Midwest and the Rust Belt. And the people in California aren't willing to do that type of work. And we know this because you can miss a hand or miss a finger or miss a foot. There's a reason why we have the highest disability and government assistance in the red states. And it's not because we're cheap, or it's not because we're stupid, or we can't find jobs. It's because we do the most dangerous job. And most of us who do those type of jobs can no longer be in the workforce because they are missing something, or they have a bad back, or they're literally working 18 hours a day and sweating to make ends meet. They have a better chance of being disabled from the work that they do. If you take a look at the disability rates in this area and compare it to the left and right coast, they're not even remotely the same. I mean, it's astronomically different from workman's comp all the way up to full-fledged disability. So when California and the left and right coast say this, is that, oh, well, without us, you guys would die. That's not a mutually exclusive thing. Because all Colorado has to do is say, okay, California, no more water. And you want to see what happens? All right. Here's
Supposed to
something.
be United States, right?
Well, right,
United.
but that's not the way it is anymore. Folks, today someone came to me and said, hey, Matt, will you make a 9/11 memorial shirt? Yep. And not only that, we have it in youth. So it says it's American flag in the background in the clouds with eagle swept type wings. You can kind of see that symbology there.
Yeah.
2977 is what it says. And then it's got the 25th anniversary in the back. The shirt's available right now in youth sizes. It's available in men's. We have it in long sleeve. We have it in hoodies. It's a pretty slick looking shirt. You guys love the 250 shirt. So I figured we would do the same for this. But I received a couple emails on this, and it is official. There it is, the 2977 shirt, 25th anniversary of the Twin Towers. And the cool thing is this graphic is actually really pretty. It looks like a piece of art.
It is.
So I hope you enjoy it. Go over there and pick it up. It's available right now, and go get it. All right, let's move into Fauci ouchie. A lot of people have been saying, hey, when are the states going to sue Fauci? Because you can't get him from a federal prosecution standpoint, but civilly, maybe you can. Let's watch this, and then we'll talk about it.
And they've now announced investigations into Dr. Fauci. Former President Joe Biden granted Fauci that pardon before he left the White House, but it didn't protect him from this. Here's Governor
Dana, you did find the X chat. I just saw it. It's good to see you over there. Looks like we've got a couple people over there.
Ron DeSantis.
This is a guy that was drinking his own Kool-Aid. He was venerated by the media. I think he liked the fact that he had a lot of this informal power when he was issuing these recommendations and telling governors and mayors to do some of the draconian things that were actually done. it had a really negative effect on a lot of societies throughout this country. You had businesses reeling, people's liberties curtailed, and kids left on the sideline unable to access education.
So should federal employees be protected who make decisions at the federal level that ultimately impact the states? Should the states have recourse against the federal government and the employees for the decision that they make? You and I don't have that choice. We were just talking about the VA. We have very little recourse in a lot of things we do. And if we suffered from any type of ailments that came from the military, we have to prove that in an exhaustive state of work, which usually is met with the utmost resistance. And it has a governor placed upon it where you can't break that ceiling. It's like they'll give you 20% and then they're not going to budge for a nickel more unless you jump through every hoop and be one of the most annoying people. It's very similar to Shawshank Redemption when he's trying to get the record player in the library built.
Right,
and he writes the letter to the state
Next
board.
week I'll start writing 2 a week. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Your thoughts on this? Should Fauci be held accountable financially for this?
It's a difficult thing to balance, right? It's kind of like when we were trying to try OJ for murder, and you couldn't get him on the actual murder charge, but you could go after him for criminal for that level. And I think it's reasonable. He changed a lot of lives with his policies that he had dictated to each state. And if your state went along with it, if your governor went along with it, I mean, I suppose there's an argument that could be made that says, well, Fauci told me to do it, so I just did it. And so, the blame can kind of roll downhill. It would be a tough road to hoe, sure. But at the end of the day, it were his policies that made everyone stand 6 feet apart for no damn reason. What do I have incoming? Jim Brown donated $20 to get it started.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate you. That bumps it up a little bit. Guys, the green thermometer down here is for Leroy and I. When you donate, you'll see that green thermometer go up. And when it does, and it goes all the way to the top, we will hit overtime. And it means we stay till 9:30. So I need to buy one of those. I really do. Fair enough. Listen, I think there should be some federal protection for malicious and punitive style civil retaliation.
Right.
But this is where ultimately you have the ability to break the federal government, because if everyone gets in a class action lawsuit and every single person wins $10 million or $10, the United States government will cease to exist. So you have to be careful how this works. And I believe what there should be is that a federal pardon should no longer protect somebody at the state level. And the states, if they deem it necessary, bring criminal charges against him that impacted the state. And I think that's completely acceptable. Completely.
I mean, think about how the United States is structured to begin with. It was engineered. It was written in such a way that the states have, in a lot of ways, more power than the federal government. It was Adam Smith who said that. The power granted to the federal government was supposed to be defined and limited, and the power given to the states should be undefined and limitless. It was a quote.
Very formulaic in its return. You're absolutely right. I don't know if it was Smith.
Yeah. It could have been James Madison. Anyway, my point is that if the states are supposed to have more power than the federal government, then a federal pardon is meaningless to the state of Ohio or to the state of Florida. That's my point.
Yeah, and we definitely know who it wasn't. It wasn't Thomas Jefferson or Alexander Hamilton, because the difference between the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists is the expansion of states versus the limitation of government. It's interesting. If you take a look, most people tell you that Democrats were most indeed very much the Federalist Party. And the Anti-Federalists, they go, well, that wasn't the Republican Party. But that's not true. Lincoln was absolutely for Go ahead.
Federalist 45 was James Madison. My bad.
Yeah, James Madison. Okay, so my point being is if you take a look at the Anti-Federalists and Federalists, they don't make the connotation because the Republican Party wasn't established until what, 1863? What, I can't remember exactly when it was. But the point is,
slavery.
Right?
Yep.
They're like, well, wait a second, no. It wasn't the Anti-Federalists weren't Republicans. Yes, they were. Because if you take a look at Lincoln and you take a look at the policies, they're more akin to the Republican Party. So when you see the transformation of these parties, this is the opportunity where Democrats always come in and say the following: well, there was a great party switch, or the parties weren't the same parties that they were then. Yes, they were. You were the party of slavery. That hasn't changed. You've just removed chains and you've added crack and low-income housing and government subsidies in order to replace people's chains. That's no different than exactly what was happening when there were 4 million slaves versus 40 million slaves. It's just different now. And they're all locked up into one single area. They all have a limited amount of potential because they are throttled by the government. You used eugenics to take the best and the brightest that could come out of these populations and murdered them. That is the absolute truth. Whether you like it or not is immaterial.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for 100 years now, we have been telling inner cities that they are victims in some way, shape, or form. And that attracts them to the left side. It attracts them to these government programs that are going to be there to quote unquote help them out. And in the meantime, anybody who started thinking for themselves or became independent in any way, all of a sudden they were kicked off the quote unquote plantation.
Right.
I mean,
Isn't that amazing?
That's pretty obvious. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole premise is frustrating. Here's the other thing. You hear Democrats say this all the time, and they're so easy to defeat because their argument, once again, objective and subjective truth. If you just stay with objective truth, you won't go wrong. If you go into the area of Candace Owens, which is all subjective, it's all about her and her perception, you're always going to be wrong. Here's the interesting thing, is the excuse for Democrats to abolish the Electoral College is because it's not fair. It doesn't represent the popular vote. It doesn't represent all Americans. Well, that's the ever-loving point. There's a couple of things. One is the president is not an elected representative like a senator or a state legislature. He is actually, and I've said this a million times, and if you read the Federalist Papers, you read the Articles of Confederation, you read the Declaration of Independence, you read the Constitution of the United States, one thing will ring true, is that the founding fathers did not find that the president of the United States was the representative of the people. Now, it's not the president's job. The president's job is to communicate through the federal government to the presidents of the states, which are the governors, and then they disseminate that information and give it to the people, and they give it to the legislative bodies. That's why they have the power to go ahead and remove senators. They have the power to remove congressmen. They have the power to usurp boards and city councils, and they can overrule the cities. Governors gets last word. This is why Mondani can't run roughshod in New York, because Hochul, at least for now, is saying no. So it's not the president it's the president of the United States. It's not the president of the people. So here's the thing. When you talk about the Electoral College and they say, oh, well, it's not fair. It's like, okay, well, let's go ahead and look at every election in the United States. Let's look at the 47 presidents and even duplicitous events of presidencies like Trump as being 45 and 47. Let's just take the cumulative total of presidents we've had in the United States. How many Republicans have won the popular vote?
Not that many.
Okay, so if you take 4 and you go ahead and take those races, you're talking about fair. Who has the advantage? Democrats. So what happens when you completely remove the Electoral College? You're saying that Republicans have 0 chance. That doesn't sound very fair to me. So this has nothing to do with impartiality. It has nothing to do with fair representation. It has everything to do with that you never want Republicans to hold the presidential seat of power anymore. And the way you can do that is by eliminating the Electoral College, and just by a state of omission and contrition of the average numbers, we would have, what, a Republican president once every 100 years, once every 50 years? Is that what you're saying? Because it's been 250 years and 4 people who have one. So you're talking, somebody do the math. What is that? 4 times 5 is 24 times 6 is 24. So 26.2. Is that the number? So every 26.2 years we have an opportunity to have a Republican? That's not the way this would work. In fact, it's less than that. So if you have 250 years and you divide that by 5, you've got 50 years. So it'd be 60, every 62 years you would have a chance for a Republican to go in office. That's a ridiculous number. And that's why they want to abolish the Electoral College. It has nothing to do with fairness. Because if it had anything to do with fairness, do you really believe that if Democrats held the percentage of 51% Democrats to 49% Republican, which is where the United States is right now, if they were the 49%, that they would do away with the Electoral College? No, they would be screaming that they've only won it 4 times, the popular vote, and they have to have the Electoral College or they could never win another race. That's the way Democrats think.
Yeah, no, completely agree. And I think in a lot of ways, you can make the argument that your real representative of the people, right, is the legislative branch, because you're talking, that's where the Senate is. And that's where, all of the bills come from. These are the people that are supposed to, quote unquote, represent you. These are the people that get elected by you to represent you. And the executive branch being a little bit of a different animal, they're only there to enforce the law. Yes, you vote them in, just like you vote in judges for the judicial branch. But in a lot of ways, when we make that conscious decision to say, hey, legislative branch, I want this person to represent me, you're saying that person can write laws for me.
Right.
Change.
I just realized that Olivia is coming from underneath your desk.
I see that.
She's crazy. We're just gonna move her over there.
Poking her in the back.
Yeah, it's not. That is a service we're willing to sell, but unfortunately, it's not available anymore.
It's not on the table. All right.
Here's Aaron Rodgers. Now, listen.
Change.
I don't like fence sitters. I think it's okay to understand both sides of a point in an argument. I think that's fair. It's logical. I think it's important, if you want to have a meaningful conversation in good faith where you can be influenced, you need to see the other person's point of view and their perspective. You also have to like that person, because you're never, ever going to change your mind from someone you don't like. If they're just an ostentatious douchebag, you're just never going to listen to them. So I appreciate listening to other people.
Somebody you don't like,
Right. Yeah. It's like a salesman. He's just so pushy. Yeah. Greasy salesman. You're not going to do it. But there comes a point where argumentation is no longer effective and a side should be chosen. Aaron Rodgers skirts that line and never takes a firm stance. Dave Rubin is similar to this type of person. I don't like wishy-washy people. Nick Freitas says it best. He's like, we have been worried and we have been focused for the last 75 years that democratic socialist communism ultimate totalitarianism would come into this country. Oligarchical society, oligarchical type governments, mafioso style governments would come into this country and take over. 75 years we've been worried about that. And whether that was a scare or whether that was an overreaction or a reality is immaterial at this point, because it's here now. And it's at our front door, and they're not hiding it anymore. And you must make a choice. You must stand firm and make a decision. But the problem is that we continue to move the goalposts so far left that people are just like, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. It is, and it's monumental. So Aaron Rodgers needs to, I can't pin the donation because then everyone complains that they can't see the text. So I either pin the donation or I don't. And honestly, donations, I've had it unpinned now for a couple of weeks and donations haven't been hurting because of it. So I think we talk about it enough on the show, thedumbshow.com/donate. I wish I could pin it, but everyone says they can't read chat and then I get yelled at because the people who blow their phone up and increase their text size can't see chat. And I'd rather have people interact with chat than the donation. So if you want to donate to the show, that's how you do it. Here's Aaron Rodgers on COVID. It's an interesting perspective. Let's listen to it.
Because is everything better? Is everything funner? Is everything more awesome? Like, how do you kind of view this year versus maybe the years of the past?
I'm going to plead the fifth.
Okay.
Okay.
Gotta
love that guy.
Okay.
like that absolute coward, Tony Fauci. Absolute coward.
Yeah.
It's back,
Are
baby.
you kidding me?
Yeah, 111
You got a
times.
pardon and you pleaded over 100 times
Yeah.
at the White House? What are you scared of, Tony?
Yeah.
I thought you were the science.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were I am science, and you get up there and you can't answer a question?
Yeah.
What are we
it,
doing?
baby.
And how much time did the network spend to that? How much time did they spend on my responses every week, on my vaccination status, on Taylor and Travis's wedding?
Yeah!
Did they do even a minute? Did they do even a minute on Tony Fauci?
No, I don't think I've heard
Nah, I
anything.
bet they didn't.
But on that note,
And there was another scandal this offseason, too, involving a voter for MVP, for Coach of the Year. How much time did your network spend? Where's your
Whoa!
Did your network spend on
our
that?
network.
I wish I
How much time did you
Go back
spend?
to Fauci.
This
I wish
is
I
awesome.
back to
How much
Fauci.
This is
awesome.
Okay.
Go back to Fauci?
Yeah.
Go back to the coward Tony Fauci and his science?
Hold on, now,
Who's spending the entire time writing in his diary about how fun it is to be famous? You got to be kidding me.
Okay, so on that note,
What are you going to say about me now?
Debate him,
What are you going
Pat,
to say about
debate
me
him.
no,
now?
I got no debate here. You had a 500.
No, seriously, what are they going to say about me now? Now you can't talk about the COVID stuff because obviously it was made, in a lab in China. That's like not even questionable anymore. Tony Fauci is an absolute criminal. I'm on good terms with my family. I'm on good terms with my family. What are you going to say now? What are you going to say
I
now?
want to let you know. It's been a fun ride for you, I would assume.
Hey, real quick, Joseph, I don't know where you're saying it's pinned. I don't see what you're talking about. Could somebody let me know?
Over the last
It's
couple.
been a great life and a great career. And it's nice to be sitting on this side now, especially after that coward played the fifth over 100 times.
Okay.
I thought you had a part in there, Tony. Why couldn't you answer one question the entire time?
Okay, can we talk about? We'll wrap up that
Other
conversation.
than that, there's been a lot of silence. I feel like, like 19 seconds about one subject. Oh, don't talk about that. We can talk about Rex Ryan's foot fetish, but please don't talk about anything else right now. Don't talk about any scandals
Okay.
involved. Don't talk about pop culture. Talk about Taylor and Travis's wedding. Yeah, what do the insiders know about that? But don't talk about
All right.
shit that actually has to do with our business or righting wrongs.
Can we
from the
remind
past.
people?
Just
Can
let
we
them go.
remind people a little bit why you're doing all this? Can we remind people?
No, I don't care.
Okay, so in 2020, okay, we were there for all of this.
2021.
Sorry,
When it
2021.
really went down.
Okay, there was a 500-page report
Twice.
that Aaron looked into with many doctors about his body and said vaccination. Now, that became a talking point of COVID, I believe, around the entire globe. And the only reason why I know that is because
I was coming on the show every week. We were talking.
I was called a murderer because I was platforming Aaron Rodgers, who was making the decision that was best for himself. So as soon as I see all this start happening with Fauci, I knew that, boy, you were certainly having a time because your name was slandered. You were called a murderer. You were called a lot of things. And
I was endangering my teammates and this and that. Now look what happened. We talked about they suppressed early treatments. They lied about where it came from. Tony Fauci's writing in his journal about, I don't want to, create any vaccine hesitancy if I tell them what the actual stats are. How many papers have been written? How many McCulloughs and Malones and all the great doctors out there who actually did treatment on the front end and repurposed drugs that are the safest profiles in the world. But no, Tony Fauci pushing his medicine just like he did back in the 80s. And now, when you have an auto pen pardon,
Hey, Jay, you know what happened.
you have an auto pen pardon,
Talking about 2 minutes.
but and you can't answer one question.
Hey, now, real quick,
not even your name. Come on, what are we
Can
doing?
we do this real
And how
quick?
much time did the network spend on that?
Hey, can we do something for you real quick?
How much time?
Hey, can we do something for you real quick?
Yeah.
Hey, way to stand on your truth throughout the entirety of that thing.
Oh, I feel
honestly.
great about it.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you should.
I feel great about it.
Congratulations.
I told you I'd be on the right side of history when I had that mustache that we were in New York.
Yeah, but you had
That mustache.
that Halloween party, though, that
did.
killed a lot of people, remember? You had that Halloween
Oh,
party. killed a
yeah.
bunch
We
of
were a
people.
10,000 square foot warehouse with 21 people. And, the I am science says 6 foot of distancing. That'll be a good thing. We can scare them enough. They probably take this vaccine that's had 0 trials done for it. You have no idea what the consequences are. There's no informed consent. You can't even look at the insert to know what you're doing. They're not even, pulling the plunger back to make sure that they got it in the right spot in the arm. Like, what are we even talking about here? The insanity. I sat here amongst a lot of actually brave Americans who avoided the $1 trillion propaganda campaign that was hijacked on the American public. And look at us now.
Hey, way to go.
Do you have anything to say?
First of all, one of the things that's true is when you're doing an intramuscle injection, whether it be in the gluteus maximus, known as your ass, your thigh, which has to be done in the right or the left side quadrant of your thigh, or you're doing it in the deltoid, you should pull back on the plunger once you insert to ensure that you're not hitting a blood vessel or any other type of stuff. If you see blood, you need to stop. And you do not want to hit that plunger and plunge in. The one thing I've never understood about COVID, and a lot of people are like, well, wait a second, the needle's not long enough. That is not true. That is an absolute lie, especially in the delt. So I kind of agree with him on that. Your whole thoughts on Aaron Rodgers on that? Do you think that's him taking a victory lap, or do you think that literally this guy is, what are your thoughts?
I got a lot of I don't give a shit kind of attitude coming from it, which was great, right? And to his point, there was a lot of shady stuff that was going on with Fauci that it didn't matter to me that he was working under Trump at the time. It just made you question whether or not what Fauci was calling out was a violation of a lot of people's rights. Either right to privacy, right to their own body, whatever the case is. And so I liked a lot of what he said, but I am not enough of an Aaron Rodgers fan to care about what he said. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally, dude. Listen, I gotta give him props though. I mean, he took hits for this, and he took major hits for this. And, he wound up being, a lot of people think that vindication makes you right. Vindication doesn't necessarily give you blanket correctness or incorrectness. And I want to specify that. Vindication means that there are things that you said that people were wrong, that people said you were wrong that you said, but that doesn't mean you were entirely right. There are still things that you got wrong. And there were things that you were saying that weren't accurate, just like the people on the left were saying things that were not accurate, just like the government was saying things not accurate. And that level of accountability is really important. That's what an introspective moment does, is that we should reflect on COVID, find out what the government got wrong, what the medical community, what the NIH, the WHO, what Aaron Rodgers got wrong, what some of the people who were platforming this type of stuff and some of these absolutely batshit crazy things, that this was in Ukraine and bioweapon labs, and that's why Vladimir Putin was invading. Right. That shit should be addressed, and those people should be excommunicated from every single platform from ever being taken seriously again. Let them say it, but let them say it in a complete dark, dank room and treat them like mushrooms. Feed them shit and put them in the dark. Because those people like Karl Rove shouldn't even have a job anymore. He got it wrong in 16. He got it wrong in 20. He got it wrong in 24. He got every midterm, every primary wrong. Karl Rove is a fucking retard. He's got nothing right ever. He's always wrong. He should never have a platform again.
Yeah. And think about what Fauci did. I mean, one day he would come on the TV and say, if you wear a mask, you're never going to get it. And then 2 masks, oh, you still might get it, but put on a 3rd one just in case. Oh, if you get the shot, if you get the shot, you're not going to get it ever. Right. Or if you get the shot, you won't carry it. Or there were so many inconsistencies in what he was saying that nobody from the left ever questioned it. Nobody ever tried to hold him to account. And while he's throwing out all of these inconsistencies, at least the people who had some level of independent thought, they were like, wait a minute, you're just contradicting what you said just last week.
Right.
Which one is it?
Right.
Right. Can I get it? Can I not get it? Because I just got the shot. Right. And now you're telling me I can still get it, but that's not what you said last week. So now I'm confused. If anything, when we're talking about the state liability or the state's ability to go ahead and go after Fauci, even at a financial level, I think that kind of thing absolutely is justified and warranted.
Just give you guys some understanding. Beckwith is winning VA 10, Virginia 10. Dave T. Beckwith. Sam Wong is not having a good showing. There was some expectation that Wong might. But it's Beckwith who is doing very, very well. Julie Anna Perry is following 20%. Beckwith is winning by 72%. That's incredible. 7th District, Doug A. Olivant, not a surprise there. Republican. John J. McGuire III in the 5th District, not a big surprise there. Bert Musasawa, who I predicted would win this, is just absolutely running away with it. David E. Williams coming in second. Farrington is third. So that is for the United States Senate. Mizusawa is military constitutionalist. That's Virginia right now. A lot of those elections are almost sat. But Wong is not doing well. Surprising. I mean, horrible representation. Juliana Perry, I think her video that she just put out that went viral on Twitter really made a difference. But Beckwith is running away with it for VA10, and that's my district. So not really surprising that Beckwith is winning because he is the establishment candidate. But I thought Juan would show up better. He didn't. So not that I predicted Juan to win, but I expected him to show up a lot better. But Mizusawa, I said would run away with it. And he is. As far as Michigan, we're waiting for things to come in. Polls don't close for another hour, I would assume. I think it's 7:00. So another no, scratch that. That should be in 6 minutes. So we should get some numbers here soon. By the way, folks, if you haven't had a chance, go on over to Twitter, X also, and stop on by. They have a chat. So if you are like, listen, I don't like Facebook chat. I'm sick of YouTube. Rumble sucks. Go over. It's nice. It's we've got like 40 people over there. Some people are talking. I love it. I think it's great. It's simple and easy to use. It's very clean. Picture looks good. And chat goes side by side with your video, which means it won't be interrupted. Yeah, so you can just do your thing and you can see all the replies. Oh, and I can reply directly to you. You can actually go and see the replies to the video on the outside of the chat, which is also nice. Go take a look. You guys might like it. Anyway, I'm watching it. Listen, I appreciate Aaron Rodgers creating a conversation. In my opinion, I think there's a certain way that you should represent yourself at all times. And I don't know if that's the best version of Aaron Rodgers that I've ever seen. I think it was abrasive. I think it was rude. I think he wouldn't let anyone talk, let him change the subject. And if you just want to have a platform for COVID, you create your own podcast, in my thoughts. Is that if you go onto a show, you should be at the behest of that person to show some respect, answer their questions, and be there for what you were supposed to talk about. But it sounds like Aaron Rodgers wanted to talk about whatever he wanted to talk about. So, personal opinion. Bible, scary thought. Watch this.
Dude, honestly, this little thing is like one of the most terrifying things in the entire Bible. Okay, and everybody misses this. If you go back to Matthew 26, the Gospel of Matthew is the only gospel that records this. You got this time where all the disciples are hanging out with Jesus is Last Supper. And Jesus tells the disciples, he's like, hey, heads up, one of you is going to betray me. As soon as Jesus goes, one of you is going to betray me, it says that they all start going around the table and all the apostles start saying, watch this, I'm going to read it to you. It says, all the apostles, one by one, they start saying, is it I, Lord? So 11 out of 11 of these dudes. Then if you look real close, and you got to look real close, everybody skips right over this. When it gets to Judas, he's the only guy that says something different. And Judas says, is it I, Rabbi? He's the only one. What the Bible's showing you is that even though he was visibly a follower of Jesus, everybody else submitted to Jesus as Lord, and Judas was just like, I love him as a good teacher. So here's the big idea. You can't lose your salvation, but you can fake it. That's what Judas is showing. So when you see somebody like Judas, we know exactly what happened. In fact, literally a Bible verse, 1 John 2:19, is about people like Judas. Yes. They went out from us, but they did not really belong to us. For if they had belonged to us, they would have remained with us. But their going out showed they did not belong to us. Yes. You can't lose your salvation. You can fake it.
This guy is revolutionizing Bible study. It truly, and he preaches and teaches in a way that's just incredible. Now, he had a wonderful story that I showed to Hayden this morning, which was talking in regards to why did Jesus need to die? And he had it with Sean Ryan. I wish Sean Ryan would do more of this shit and stay away from Candace Owens and Tucker and just do what he does, which is just holy shit.
Are you serious? Yep. Holy shit.
Just do that. That's when you're great, Sean. That's all you say and people talk. But it was a fantastic understanding that you could talk to the general layman who had never picked up the Bible or never studied any of the stories or parables or never read a single word in the Bible. And it explained why Jesus and God's son, only begotten son, needed to die for us. And it was put so simply and so succinctly and so perfectly. He's really good. I'll get his name for you. I want to wait until tomorrow because I want to show the clip with Fisher on, and I'll give you guys his links and everything else. But a lot of you already watch him, and I can't remember his name right now. But I've been showing a few of his clips, and it's interesting. How do you feel about that? There's going to be a change in the way that we worship and that we study and take in the Bible. There's several podcasts now that are reaching national attention and level due to these types of conversations and level of communication that isn't preaching with fire and brimstone, but is using philosophy and logic of modern day interpretation of yesterday's chronicles of Christ. And it's a very interesting way to use modern day technology to talk to a new generation. And although it's not the podcast bros, it's very similar is having a pastor or a preacher or a minister in a baseball cap and a t-shirt, or a couple guys talking about politics and crossing into that threshold. Yes, Josh Howerton, that's correct. That's his name. He's fantastic. Anyway, your thoughts on that, Leroy?
I think it's fantastic. I think any opportunity that young men can utilize to hear lessons or the Word of God, it's a good thing. Joseph Hillstrom donated $21.10. Says, Matt, thanks for helping me through the Comcast debacle last night. It wasn't their fault. Getting it sorted out. Leroy, nice to you back.
Have you back is what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
Pastor
Thank you
Josh
very
Howerton.
much, Joseph.
Go ahead.
And I was going to say that, like, even the thing that I went to like just 2 weeks ago with the 1613 conference was an absolutely packed room. I think they said that there was more than 4,000 people there. And when you look at a lot of the statistical data, a lot of the polling data that suggests that more and more young men are being attracted to religion, Catholicism, Christianity, I think that's a good thing, right? And however that gets into your veins, right? If that happens because of more podcasters like this, or because of the 1613 conference, when Nick Freitas was, I can't even say his name. I don't know why. Nick Freitas, when he was at the 1613 conference, he was absolutely phenomenal. And the pastor that was in front of him, it was all just a solid night. And I saw people being inspired. And that's great because it's in person. But when you see these kind of things and it's happening via podcast, and that reaches not thousands, but potentially tens of thousands or, hundreds of thousands of people, that's a good thing. I am all for this. And I think it's important that a lot of young men start to see these kinds of lessons coming from people who look like them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I agree with you 120%. I can't agree with you even more. I think it's important to have a younger generation speak to the younger generation, but I also think that the younger generation isn't going to go at this alone. And they're going to have to reach into some silver-haired, weathered people, to say it lightly, in order to truly learn the difference between intelligence and wisdom.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of intelligent people. I don't know very many wise people. And when people ask me, do you think you're intelligent? Sure. But there's something more important to intelligence, and that's wisdom, which is the application of intelligence in an effective way. That's wisdom. And a lot of people don't know how to have those conversations. And the one thing I pride ourselves on is that when we do interviews, I don't think there's ever been a person that's been like, what a dumb question, or this is stupid. Every single interview we've ever done, there's been one where someone's like, I've never been asked that. I've never been asked that question. And the interesting thing is the reason why they haven't been asked that is because the questions that we're asking are the ones we actually want the answers to, not the ones we already know. And a lot of people fail to do that. One of the first things I do when I research interview guests is I go watch their other interviews and I find out what they're not talking about that somebody wanted to talk about. Chris Prano's a perfect example. I knew Chris wanted to talk about when he was younger a lot and what he had learned around family. And I could tell that when he was on Sean, that Sean left that question and Tonto didn't want to leave it. And when he got here, we asked him specifically about the lessons learned, old Tonto to new Tonto. And he reveled in that question. And I think he took 10 minutes on that. That's what I think the older generation brings to this. And although some people might not, go, oh, boomer, or it's an old guy, what does he know? We've been there. And we've had the fumbling, sticky nights in the backseat of cars. We've all had too much to drink. We've all had our dick knocked in the dirt. We've all had tough jobs. We've all had broken hearts. And for anyone to repudiate the wisdom of an older generation is making a tragic mistake. And I think that's this generation's fault. This generation is going to be lost when this generation is no longer here or no longer have the ability to impart wisdom.
That's fair. One of when you're in the military, they tend to give you a lot of reading material, and the Navy actually volunteers, like they'll give you a free account to overdrive.com, right? So you can download as many books as you want. And one of the things I found interesting when I was reading General Mattis's stuff was that he carried Marcus Aurelius's Meditations book everywhere with him. He kept it in his cargo pants, like in his pocket on his uniform. And that didn't matter if he was at war or not. He kept that with him. And he read it all the time. And I think that says something about when we're talking about wisdom, a shorthand to that, or a shortcut, can be seen as stoicism. And that's what Marcus Aurelius was about. And it's a great way to help put things in perspective. And the lessons, if taken to heart, I think that accelerates your path towards being a sage.
Yeah, and if not a sage, at least a soothsayer, right? Yeah. So I think that's the one thing that elders produce is the ability to help people with their emotions and internal conflict to be able to achieve stoicism. See, because emotion is just like an overabundance of love or an overabundance of anger. And antithetical to rage, I guess, would be calm. Stoicism is neither calm nor angry. Stoicism is not presenting emotion and collecting everything you need so you can present the proper investment of whatever that's going to be from you at the time. I mean, look at the definition of stoicism, like verbatim. And although I can give you an overall presentation of the word, I'd rather give you the literal definition so we can know it. It's centered around controlling your response to life rather than trying to control everything that happens. That's exactly what I just said. You're not showing anger. You're not showing that you're calm. You are simply observing and collecting information to provide the proper response to put out back in the ether in the universe. It's something that Leroy has taught me, because I would just, whenever I still get mad and grumpy and stuff, but I've learned not to allow people to control who I am. And that takes a lot of self-discipline. And honestly, it takes a lot of courage, because you're your own worst enemy. You're your own problem. It's like the government trying to fix debt. The government will never balance our debt because they can't. They're the ones who created it, and they're not, and you can't necessarily control yourself because you're the problem. Mello donate $51.99. Ouchie needs the Beagle treatment. Just saying, I'm not going to disagree with you on that. I can't say that out loud, but you understand what I'm saying here, Leroy. Is that the problem with most people is you?
Absolutely,
and they don't understand that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a. I love Jimmy Carr for this. Is as much of an amazing comedian as
he's wonderful. He's so wonderful.
He is so good.
Yeah, he's excellent.
And he has that. He requotes it, but it's a Nietzsche line that says, "If you think someone has ruined your life, then there's something you're not ready to face, and that's yourself."
Yeah, Nietzsche was a douchebag, but but he at least he's like Mark Twain. Mark Twain was a complete douchebag too. He's a socialist prick, but a genius nonetheless. And you know what? Karl Marx, for all of his faults, everyone has some benefit. Everyone has something that they're good at. And it's like when Nick Fuentes said, listen, there's some admirable qualities to Adolf Hitler, whether you agree with that or not. And I'm like, I can't disagree with Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a perfect example of a complete asshole who has some admirable qualities.
Right. Whether or not you consider that to be his hairline or whatever the case is.
Or being a gay Mexican midget.
The point is that if you take the very best qualities through your moral lens, if you take the very best qualities from every person and try to incorporate that into some of what you do throughout the course of a day, from everybody, right? A little bit from Matt, a little bit from Nick Freitas, a little bit from Tonto, Barry Morgenstein. If you take a little bit of the very best of those people and try to live up to a standard, right, then you're already on the right path.
Yeah,
but if you go around blaming people your whole life and just saying, oh, this sucks, I'm a victim, well, you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah. And remember, like this has been paraphrased and requoted a million times and repurposed by everybody, but comparison is the destroyer of innovation.
Yes.
And it is. So when you try to say, listen, I need to be more like Nick Freitas, you will never be Nick Freitas, because Nick Freitas he has a particular set of abilities that are very difficult to replicate. It takes a certain mind to be as studious and affable as he is. He can tell you to completely go F yourself without you knowing it. He's excellent at oversimplifying complex problems in a way that people can understand. It's a gift. And Nick Freitas will never be me, because there's things that I do better than Nick Freitas. And I'm sure Nick will tell you that. And Leroy does things that are better than me. But the point is that when you collectively sit in a room with those people, can you be at the table?
Right.
That should be your goal. Not to be better than them, but to be able to sit at that table and contribute something.
Exactly.
I have no doubt about that's it. You got to contribute something. And I can sit with Ben Shapiro. I could sit with Nick Freitas. Leroy and I could walk into any room with any of those guys, sit down and contribute to the conversation.
Right.
And that is what earns you mutual respect. And that's what earns you admiration. And that's what earns you friendships. Yeah.
I'm convinced that the reason more of that kind of thing does not happen. I mean, obviously these people are insanely busy, right? The Jordan Petersons of the world, who probably have at this point in time, 12-hour, every hour of their 12-hour day already scheduled out. Same thing with Nick Freitas, right? Same thing with Chris Tonto.
Right.
But if you were given that opportunity to sit down, right, one of the things that we should all be able to do is just to shut up and listen for a little bit.
Right.
Just listen, just absorb it. Take it in for a hot minute before you start contributing. Like, what are we talking about? Really break down the problem, soak in it, right? And and I'll say this, what Nick Freitas does that is unbelievable is he can sit down. It would take me 5-10 minutes to sit down at a table, soak in a subject, and then provide some level of feedback where he can do it in 30 seconds. This is what's wrong with the philosophy that you're describing. These are the points why it's wrong. And here's a historical example. And it would take me so much longer.
The reason why he can do that is because he has those conversations, and that the muscle memory you get from doing a show like this is why I have gotten better, is because I've had this dialogue, I've had these conversations, and like I've seen your kung fu, and it's not strong.
Yeah.
And it's easy to beat argumentation. Like the argumentation from the left is so simple. Like when I talk about, when they go, well, Donald Trump's a rapist. And I said, well, you're first of all, you're absolutely wrong. You're lying. You're lying. Show me where he's been convicted of rape, investigated for rape. Tell me an indictment. Tell me an accusation. Hell, give me a police report. And they're like, well, he was accused by Eugene Carroll. I said, that's a civil case, a preponderance of evidence in a civil case. 73% of all civil cases go for the plaintiff. And the reason why is because most people just realize that spending money on a lawyer and dragging out a case it's actually cheaper just to pay people with non-admission of guilt. And the judge in that case said he did not rape Eugene Carroll. But when he was talked to in an interview, he did say that. He said, well, New York state law's definitions are a little... So what you're saying is you allowed a rapist to go free? You didn't charge him because of a definition? Are you telling me as a judge you're not capable of understanding the rule of definition of rape? So I carry that around on my photos. And every time they say it, I show them the case, the docket number, and the signature of the judge where he circled he didn't rape her. So you're lying. And it's like, well, he was found guilty of sexual misconduct. Right. But that's not guilt. So he wasn't found guilty. He was found liable in from a financial standpoint. That's not the same thing. Right. So if you take a look at O.J. Simpson, people go, well, he was sued civilly, so therefore he was guilty. No, that's not what they said. Right. They sued for damages, and the preponderance of evidence is innocence until proven guilty is not a standard of civil court in any way, shape, or form. Damages can be applied even if you are completely innocent because you can be guilty of other things that award a penalty to the plaintiff. You can't do that in criminal court. You can get lesser charges, but you can't just go ahead and say, oh, you know what, it's going to be a first-degree murder because you checked a couple boxes, but we weren't able to prove this, or this, but you did check a couple boxes in here, so now you're going to go to prison for the rest of your life. You can't do that. In civil court, you can.
That's one of the that's probably one of the only things about European law when you compare it to U.S. law that I do find a little more favorable is that it's in Europe, if you go to sue somebody, right, and you lose, over there, loser pays. Right. And you have to pay for all of the plaintiffs' charge. That doesn't happen here. Over here in the United States, if you get sued, you spend a fortune defending yourself. At the end of the day, you may be found innocent, great, but you're still out a boatload of money. At least over there, if loser pays, that's why there's so many less frivolous lawsuits.
Right. And you have to countersue in order to seek retribution unless it is like a small claims court, which the judge can assign that right there. But if this is a civil trial for Eugene Carroll, in any real world, Donald Trump should be able to countersue her for defamation. Because she accused him of rape. So what's the difference? If she accused him of rape, which she did, without a police report, without a crime kit, without any investigation, and said that, and then was found that was a false allegation, he should be able to sue her for the same reason that she's suing him. But that's not the way it works, because civil court's a fucking joke. Yep. Every single person should go through criminal court, and civil penalties would be applied outside of criminal law violations and punitive recourse. You should have every single criminal lever to pull if you're found guilty of something, but also financial responsibility should be decided in criminal court as well, and completely remove civil court. Because I think civil court, in my opinion, now people are like, well, what do you do about marriages? What do you do about, why don't you take that out of the government's hands? Why don't you have divorce being handled by a third party? Why do we need legal involvement in this? Why do you need lawyers involved? Why is the average divorce costing each party $50,000? There are other means to remove civil liability, but it's monetary gain. So criminalize it.
Right.
And as far as child support and alimony, I believe that if you were married, you should come to that civil union the same way you did going into it, together with a plan, and present it to a magistrate, present it to a judge, and then sign it and then end it and shut up. I don't think you should have lawyers come in. I don't think any of that should happen. But this is the problem with the world today, is everyone believes that they need to get the courts involved in everything. I just don't agree.
Right. Folks, we're at 9309. We need a little bit of help, folks. We need 20691 to go. And if you could help us out, that'd be really amazing. If you like what you're hearing, Matt and I tossing ideas back and forth. Doesn't even always need to be political, right? Sometimes it's just about things like the law or sports or, whatever the case is. If you like what you're hearing, please help us out.
Yep. It doesn't take a lot. $5, $10. That's what it does. And listen, if you're that person that's like, oh, $5 not going to make a difference. Yes, it does, because it gets a chain of donations coming in. And people, this is what happened the other night. Somebody started off with $5. Another person did $5. Elizabeth Hall did $5.65. And then someone else came in and gave $5. I remember each donation, and then boom, 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 boom. It just fell. But we are 40 minutes away and $207 away. Here is the woke Reich. Watch this.
Photograph that emerged over the weekend. And you were in this picture. It was at Tucker Carlson's home. You're in there with Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, Tucker. What was this? There is word that you're all planning, as Marjorie Taylor Greene put it, a new political movement. What is the movement? Could it be an actual party? What was going on?
Things are in the initial phases right now, but there is a growing consensus on, I think, both the right and the left, of people who are sick and tired of the Republican Party. They're sick and tired of the Democrat Party. They want us out of these foolish wars that we're just sitting here talking about right now. Most Americans have no idea what we're talking about. They don't know about Gaza. They don't know about the Straits of Hormuz. They just know that billions of their taxpayer dollars, their blood, their treasure, their sons and their daughters continue to get sent overseas. Our best and brightest get killed. Our taxpayer dollars get spent over there while things continue to decay here in America. And so what we're trying to do is just build a coalition of people who say we're finally going to put America first. We're not going to focus on the next foreign war. We're not going to listen to foreign lobbies like AIPAC and like the Israelis. We're going to focus on the issues that matter here to the American people. And those of us that were there at that table, myself, Tucker, Thomas Massey, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and there's others as well. We are, I think, people who initially were part of the MAGA movement, the Trump Republican Party, but we feel that we.
I don't like Joe.
I don't either.
I like Joe,
you were
but
frozen in mid.
Sorry,
Joe. You were frozen right at the end there.
Yep.
Just to be clear, though, before we close things, could this involve establishing a new party?
Look, it certainly could. I mean, if you talk to most Americans out there, they're sick of the Republican Party. They're sick of the Democrat Party. They do want something that actually represents their interests. And again, we don't want any more foreign wars. We don't want any foreign lobbying in our government. And we want leadership in America that's going to put the needs.
Go ahead.
I shouldn't have said that I don't like Joe. I do, but here's the thing. There's a difference between like and respect. I respect him, I guess. Here's why he's not right, though. And he is right in that there are deep fractures going on in both parties. Now, whether or not that translates to the moderate American, I think that has yet to be seen. What I think your average American is hearing, right, is that the things that are happening over in the Straits of Hormuz, the things that are happening in Iran directly impact not only oil prices, but Israel, that they affect areas around the Horn of Africa and Chinese energy. So maybe the Republican Party could do a better job weaving some of that together and explaining this is why we did what we did. But at the same time, would that sway or dissuade people from supporting what's happening? I don't know, honestly.
They're a bunch of shills to get money from overseas, specifically from the Middle East, Qatar, UAE, and they're all a bunch of fucktards. And the only thing that's sorry, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry at all. Because I've been railing against Tucker Carlson. I've been railing against Marjorie Taylor Greene. And I'm going to go ahead and rail against Joe Kent. He's the one that leaked to Candace Owens. Screw him. So you were relegated to a lower position and you got pissed at Donald Trump and you knew that you were under investigation. So what did you do? You came out and cried foul. You were under investigation by the DOD. and the DOJ. We know that you were giving information to Candace Owens, and when discovery takes place from the lawsuits, that when she's going to get her ass sued, you're going to get outed. And you and Marjorie Taylor Greene and everybody else were never Trumpers. You stood by him and you took advantage of him. And then the moment that his coattails weren't as strong as they were because of Epstein bullshit, you guys called him a pedophile like the left with no evidence and no proof. You're pieces of shit. And Rob O'Neill, you're getting there too, dude. There's already questions about your recount of events of you shooting Osama bin Laden, but now you're sitting here and you're putting in theories that Tyler Robinson was innocent and that shot couldn't have been done with a 308. How many shots did you take with a 308, Rob? How many shots? And what makes you a forensic expert? Because he shot people. That's what he says. But he's sitting here and starting to go into this. Listen, I'm so tired of this stuff. I'm tired of the grift. If you don't have the ability to have a conversation, look at information, logically deduct what is real and what is not, and separate fact from fiction by making declarative statements of, I'm speculating 120% here. I have actually no idea if that shot was legitimate. I haven't looked at the coroner's report. I haven't looked at ballistics evidence. I haven't seen it, so we're going to wait for the trial and find out. But there are questions that I have. Fine. Yeah. But the moment that you start sitting here and saying there's no way that was a 308, you have now interjected objective truth into that. You're saying that this is a for certainty, whether you believe it or not, or anyone else believes it, that there's no way that Tyler Robinson did the shooting. And that is completely antithetical to a logical argument. You are making a declarative statement with zero fact. That pisses me off. So Leroy was very nice about it, but I'm not a big fan of Kent for the same reason I'm not a big fan of Snowden. Mm-hmm. You took an oath. You took an oath, dude. And you decided to go ahead and leak to Candace Owens. And anyone thinks that that's not what happened, that is absolutely ridiculous. You know what I mean?
And that whole panel, right? They're kind of demonstrating without actively saying it.
Yeah,
the logical
30-06, Tommy. Thank you. I'm sorry I said 308. Yeah. 30-06.
Yeah,
yes.
No worries.
And that's why I said 308, because of military versus 30-06. Yeah. So I should have said 30. How many times are you using a 30-06 round in the military, Rob? Go ahead.
Not no mo. But they're demonstrating the very smallest logical error that you can possibly make, which is, hey, look, if you don't trust the government, then how the hell could I stand to vote for anybody who would project, who would say, let's make the government this much bigger? Darby Carlton donated $40. Darby, thank you very much, dear. Thank you.
Thank you, Darby. You're the best. Moving on up, folks. It's climbing a little bit. We're almost halfway there. Living on a prayer. We've got about 33 minutes. I will put up the clock here in a minute. Listen, just because I question Kent doesn't mean that he didn't serve his country honorably, that he is a good human being on most accounts. I disagree with the grift. I disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I disagree with Tucker Carlson. I disagree, but it doesn't mean that I can't recognize that Tucker Carlson is actually fairly brilliant. It doesn't mean that I can't say that Marjorie Taylor Greene hasn't done some good things. That doesn't. Leroy will tell you that I will challenge him as much as I'll challenge anyone else, but it doesn't mean that I don't value him as a friend or respect him. We can disagree, but you will get to a point with me that disagreement, I just said this, is no longer an option. I have put you on the proverbial egg timer for the rest of your existence. Candace Owens, I will never, ever, and there's nothing she can do to redeem herself, ever. That's it. She has been relegated to a retard level, and I will never, ever listen to her with a modicum of faith or trust ever again. Marjorie Taylor Greene is really close to that too.
This is all about having those conversations. If you could sit down with Tucker Carlson at a table and have a 20-minute long conversation, at some point you're going to get to a point where you just disagree about something.
Right.
Yes, I trust the government. No, I don't trust the government. Whatever the case is, I think everyone should have health care. Oh, no, I think that if you demand health care, that's, a socialist policy. Whatever those disagreements are, every conversation can be whittled down to those points.
Right.
And I think not enough of that is happening around most tabletop conversations in the United States. I think if more families could do that, if more of those types of discussions could happen in a social setting. I don't know why politics is so viewed that, oh, no, it's impolite to bring that up.
That's what it's designed for.
I know, but it's like these are the things that literally the policies that you would vote for, right? Because overall, these policies help put guardrails up on our lives. We should be able to talk about these things with relatively little inflammatory, we shouldn't be throwing darts at each other. We can just simply say, I disagree. I don't think that, healthcare is a right. Why is that so hard, Bernie? Right. And a lot of times, a lot of this name calling that happens, a lot of the insults that happens always seem to start on the left-hand side of the aisle.
Right. Yeah. And my comment, Tommy, that's exactly right. The 30-06, the same round as the M1 Garand. It's right over there. Got a bunch of them over there. Everyone wants to look. Use it. Most definitely could make that shot, and ask any World War II vet that uses that round. My point is modern day snipers, modern day, anyone who's using a single shot is not going to be using a 30-06 round in most cases. My point is that Rob is an operator. Rob has put a lot of rounds in a lot of people. It is absolute. The question I would ask Rob is, Rob, please tell me the shot that you took that was replicated in that way and describe it to me. And I guarantee he'll say, I've never made that shot. Never made that shot. Not with that weapon, not with that caliber, not in that situation, not from that position. Saeed, I told you guys Saeed's going to win, and this is actually a good thing. Haley Stevens was polling better against Mike Rodgers. I don't know if Saeed is going to win, but I will tell you there's a lot of white women who back him up, and that's terrifying. But Saeed has a really good shot. I think he's going to win, and I think it's going to be him and Mike Rodgers, and it's going to be a lot of money, because I will tell you that as the bell tolls, Michigan is the bellwether for the Senate. If you win this seat, the Republicans, they have no chance of taking over the Senate. They absolutely have to take this seat. So you should be watching Michigan to understand where the Senate goes. And if Saeed loses and Mike Rodgers wins, then they have no chance. And we really want that, because that is the only thing that's going to stop the House, which is more than likely going to go Democrat, from imposing their will with impeachments and everything else. They may still do those things, but it's going to die in the Senate. So that's it. Speaking of El Said and Piker, watch this. Folks, 133.09 to donations. We've got, we could use some likes, that's the thing. We've got 42 over watching on X, 26 on YouTube, 45 over on Facebook, which is just Facebook is dead. I don't know what to tell you. Their live streams have just turned to shit. 56 over on Rumble. Good to see those people in there. All you have to do is hit the thank you button by hitting a like. It means the world to us. If you can't donate, it says, Matt, you were rated. I apologize. I didn't see it. Tammy, I got to give you my cell phone. I apologize that I missed the raid. I didn't see it. Who was it? It was from Wendy Wild. I completely missed it, and I'm sorry for Wendy Wild. I will have to make it up to her, and I apologize. Please go over and follow Wendy Wild over on Rumble. And I feel horrible, Tammy. I'm so very sorry. I'll give you my phone number so you can call me next time, because without having Olivia here, I was unable to watch it. Give you guys an update on VA 10, Virginia 10th District. Looks like Mizusawa is at 52%. He's running away with it. David A. Williams is right behind Farrington. Looks like McGuire is going to run away with 5th District. 7th District, Doug Ollivant is probably one of the closest races, but he's ahead of Harding. Beckwith is just crushing. Sam Wong completely fell out. I had a good idea. I didn't know if he would win, but I liked the candidate. But Beckwith is probably going to take it. And that is the way that is going. Michigan is 62% are with Said. Said's going to run away with this. And this is troubling. This is complete repudiation for Democrat policy, which means Michigan is in play with a DSA candidate, and that's scary. That's terrifying. Here is a video of Piker and El Assad, or El Said.
Push him for you a little bit as well, you know?
I feel pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good.
Stressed out?
No, it's like the wait is what kills you. You know what I mean? Just waiting. You know, polls don't vote, man. People vote. Right?
No,
so
exactly.
There's a lot of inshallah that needs to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of love. I appreciate you, man.
Bro, this guy.
Mr. Piker.
This guy.
Drop it. He doesn't have a lot to be worried about tonight because he is absolutely kicking the shit out of Haley Stevens. And I don't consider Haley Stevens to be a authentic candidate. And we'll see what Michigan does. Do I believe that somebody, an open socialist, which is what he is, can beat Mike Rodgers? Yeah, unfortunately I do. 62% is a pretty damning and alarming number. But don't forget this, folks. Remember what happened in the primaries against Mike Rodgers and how close he was. But also, let's not forget Kamala Harris came in and literally stole Joe Biden's primary wins. And Joe Biden decisively took these primary numbers because that's the way that works. And he was an incumbent. But if you take a look on a head-to-head run in 2020 and 2016 for Hillary Clinton, the numbers for the primaries for the Democrats were incredible, but they didn't necessarily translate to the midterms or the general election. This is another situation. We'll just have to find out. Is DSA the Socialist Party? Yeah, it's the Democrat Socialists of America. These are the people who want to abolish ICE.
I just sent you a link about that. I wanted to, I sent it to your personal. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What?
Just the link.
Yeah. Democratic Socialists of America. And it's got their platform on it too. We can pull into this real quick and what they want. I mean, these people are freaking insane.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely batshit crazy. Abolish ICE. Like, here's the DSA video. Let's just watch this real quick.
The last 2 years have been rough. We've been hit with crisis after crisis, and everywhere working class people are being pushed out of politics. Right at the moment that we need to fight like hell. The bosses and billionaires and their politicians and police.
I thought fight like hell was insurrection language. Isn't that what President Trump?
Inflammatory.
Yeah. It's inflammatory. I think this is a riot. I think this is an insurrection.
Are sacrificing us during this pandemic. It's no wonder we are exhausted and struggle to organize. But we are finding a way. We've seen huge electoral victories and labor organizing from coast to coast, including major union wins in Starbucks stores from Buffalo to Seattle. Workers everywhere are rising up, and DSA chapters and members are returning to face-to-face meetings, rallies, and canvasses. As working class people, we're fed up. As socialists, we know the answer is class struggle. No force in history is stronger than the working class taking collective action. Let's brush ourselves off and move forward together. Serious politics begins with organizing and mass movements. There are no shortcuts to building power.
Oh, God.
Join us to rebuild, Re-energize and recommit to building working class power with DSA.
If you go a little further down the page,
yeah,
I don't know. Are you at DS? Yeah, are you at DSAUSA.org?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Right there.
I know it's your page that you sent me. I'm here.
The thing, that's exactly where I wanted you to stop. The thing with the strong labor movement. Listen to this crap. Capitalism pits us against each other, and workplaces are fundamentally authoritarian unless workers can self-organize and build a collective power. This is why people build unions and why employers undermine them. It is also why the capitalists as a class constantly promote narratives about unions that frame them as unnecessary, undemocratic, and ineffective. I'm listening to this going, did Karl Marx write this? Like Karl Marx himself? Because the class struggle and this battle against authoritarian capitalism it is literally a page out of Karl Marx's book. And this whole thing drives me insane because as people read this, look at that center right next to the megaphone, the thing with the fist. I mean, I don't know how clear some of this has to be, how much more clear, but when you look at like all of the socialism flags, always has that fist. Like it's supposed to be this stance of unity, right? And the signs are so obvious that this is such a far left movement and people are falling for this crap. Like I cannot believe that this is an actual legitimate page and that nobody has flagged it. It wasn't that long ago, right, that politicians that we still have in office today put in place this idea that we can't have communists or communism here in the United States. It was illegal, effectively. And I'm talking post-McCarthyism, right? But here you are, just so long as they don't say they're communists. No. We're Democrat socialists. What the hell's the difference? Can any intellectual out there pick out what the subtle differences are between this page and communism? Anyone?
Well, I can tell you what they say. But they're like, abolish ICE isn't a Marxist philosophy. Abolishing the police isn't a Marxist philosophy. Inclusion and equity and diversity is not a Marxist philosophy. This is what they'll say.
Right.
But it's all rooted in the same shit, different pile. Just because you've changed the words doesn't change what it is. By you calling it a Democrat socialist country, and now they say, well, if you ask them, please tell me a successful socialist country that didn't turn into communism. They can't. So what they say is, no, that's different. We're Democrat socialists, like Sweden and Norway, Scandinavian countries. And I'm like, well, that's funny because Sweden, Norway, and Finland all say that they are not communists and they repudiate communism. In fact, they say that we're a capitalistic society with a democracy with social programs. That people say, well, the military is socialist. No, it's fucking not. It's meritocracy. There's nothing in the military that you get from diversity and inclusion. It is a meritocracy. Now, there's personal politics and all that type of stuff, and there's personal politics in the workplace. But to sit here and say that the fire department is socialist, no, it's a social program. It is a program that we pay into for a protective service, which is ultimately what the government's responsibility is to do. We do this with the police department. Oh, well, taxes are socialist. You're literally a retard. You're literally retarded.
To your point, I mean, you bring up amazing points in that when they're talking about the Green New Deal, when they're talking about defunding ICE, when they're talking about, every other major program that they want to roll out, these aren't little programs. Any one of these collectively, if played forward long enough, would be enough to cripple the nation. And that's what's required. They would have to tear down what's here in order to replace it with their vision of what a utopian society would look like. So they have to advocate for the destruction of ICE because that's a current program. They would have to advocate for the destruction of the fossil fuel industry. Right, because that's how they ring in this idea of equality for everyone. Oh, you don't get to use gasoline; you have to use energy off of the solar grid, which is it's enough. Any one of those things is enough to destroy our economy to begin with, which is exactly the point.
Okay.
What?
How many billionaires are in the United States?
30, 40?
100 something, I would assume. I'd say 140 to 150 billionaires. Let's find out. I know we have the most millionaires in the world in the United States.
Yeah.
How?
Yeah, by
many
far.
Billionaires in the USA. Okay. So let's look at this. Okay. Because this is what they say, tax the rich, tax the billionaires, right? Because a millionaire isn't rich anymore. I'm sorry. $1 million ain't shit anymore. Now some people are like, I'll take $1 million. Yes, I would too. That's not what I'm saying.
Obviously.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that, it's under my couch cushions, because then I want to be $133.09 and sweating that we haven't hit goal. You know what I mean?
Right.
What I'm saying is that $1 million is not what it used to be. Total number of billionaires in the United States as of 2026. It's formulating its answer. I'm getting it. Okay. So it's a lot less than I thought, or a lot more. It's 989 billionaires in the United States. Yeah. So it's more. 150 is, I think that's corporations that are. No,
I could see
that. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So 959 billionaires, and there's thousands of millionaires. I mean, tens of thousands of millionaires in this country. Okay, so let's just say that there are 989 billionaires, and they are estimated value of what? 8.4 trillion. Okay, is that fair?
Anything. Yeah.
No, but let's just say it's 8.4 trillion. Okay.
Sure.
And your goal is to tax the rich. Okay. And your programs that you want to do, let's just say universal health care. Universal health care would cost the United States $2.3 trillion annually. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Green New Deal was estimated over a 10-year period to be something like 75 trillion. So let's just say 7.5 trillion a year for 10 years. Even if you tax those people at 100%,
yep,
you don't pay for your shit. So how in the fuck are you going to do that? Well, I'll tell you how, because then you're going to go to the middle class. And the middle class numbers have moved. The upper class has moved out of the reach for most middle class. Now what you have is you have a poor, underprivileged class. You have a poor middle class. You have an upper middle class. There's very little middle of the road middle. There's no such thing as a middle class anymore. It's an upper middle class. Then you would be considered the wealthy middle class, and then you would move into the rest. Okay? Leroy and I would fall into an upper middle class to wealthy middle class based upon where we're at. That doesn't mean that we're liquid rich. It just means that there's been decisions that have been made in our lives that have been good ones, and financially we have been able to achieve some moderate success. But by no means are we the elite. Even if we're upper middle class to wealthy middle class, which I'm not wealthy. I am definitely upper middle class. That doesn't mean shit, because if you tax me 10% more than what you're taxing me right now, I'm going to fall below the middle class that doesn't exist and fall into a poverty level. That is how the minutia of taxation that could literally cripple us.
Absolutely.
If you tax the middle class, that they are going to leave, they are going to stop producing, they're going to furlough employees, they're going to downsize, they're going to move to robotics, they're going to outsource their employment. This is what happens with socialism, is that you don't know how to pay for it. We need to ask that question more. Stop calling them communists. Stop calling them socialists. Ask them the question, how are you going to pay for it? And then have those facts. There's 989 billionaires in the United States today. If you tax them at 95%, you only pay 1/20th of what you're proposing to spend. How are you going to pay for it? Well, we're going to have to. No. How are you going to pay for it? Because we are already in $40 trillion in debt. And if we get to 50, that's game over. Go ahead, Leroy.
We've talked about this before. It's probably, 4 or 5 weeks ago, I brought up the 16th Amendment, that back in 1913, the 16th Amendment implemented the first income tax. And it was first passed, income tax was set to between 1% and 7% and only for top earners. No one else paid an income tax. And I broke down the numbers at one point, 1880s, there was only X number of people who would have been paying for that, and then compared to the 2020 numbers. What's funny about that is that when we're talking about way back in 1913, when the income tax was set to between 1% and 7%, when you look at the top tax rates now, they are between 35 and 37%. And at what point are Americans going to go, wait a minute, if there's not enough billionaires to cover this one tab, if they wanted to implement universal health care, that would be more than enough to bankrupt the entire country. So they would have to tax you, right? And that's always the game that they play. Tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the rich, tax the billionaires, make them pay their fair share. Eventually you run out of all of those people and it has to roll downhill. That's how we end up with the 16th Amendment to begin with. Oh.
Listen, here's a question. Why should I pay for health insurance when health insurance is emergency coverage and they have to go ahead and do that? And then I'll just file bankruptcy if it's a catastrophic event. Well, what's the harm in that? Because that's what people are doing all over the country. Healthcare isn't going to solve your problems. It solves, possibly, in a catastrophic event, financial destruction from the people who you care about. But here's the thing. If you go with socialism, you're guaranteeing the financial destruction of everyone you care about.
1,000%.
How stupid can you be? More government is not the answer. Listen, guys, listen to me. I don't have any health care right now.
The problem now.
Yeah, I had health care for a year. You know what? It was shit. So now we've got a representative coming in. They're going to go ahead and take care of us. And I'm still probably going to spend anywhere from $800 to $1,400 a month on health care. But do I need that? Sure. I'm 52 years old. My heart attacks and strokes are in the family. I need to protect my family. But do I need the greatest coverage in the world? No, I don't. So here's the thing. That's not going to make me richer by not having to pay for that health care. Because what's going to happen is I might get that free health care, but my taxes are going to go up 15%.
Yep.
How did that help me? They're going to get their money any fucking way. And if you think they're not, you're insane. And guess what? If they don't get their money, you know what they do? They print more.
Yep.
The United States government is going to do whatever it can to keep its finances, and our money means shit to them. It means nothing to them because there are billions and billions of dollars pending in late fees, and they're not going after these people. The government literally liquidated over $500 billion in credit card debt. They took $42,000 on one of my credit cards during COVID. They wiped it clean, and I can't pay it back. I've tried. I've called Chase. I said, we have no account to point it to. It went into collections. It was the only credit card. We had tens of thousands of dollars, and we told people, listen, this is going to be hard for a year. But I'm working at this job now. We're going to make amends, and we're going to get on a payment plan. And I promise you, my water, my electric, here's what it is. Look at my credit. I'm good for it. You know what they said? Absolutely, Mr. Speer. Your mortgage, we're going to put it on the back end of the loan for a year. All of these things, we restructured all of our debt, and we got everybody paid off. Chase is the only one that wouldn't work with us. One Chase card did. We had that paid off within a year. The second Chase card at $42,000 would not work with us, Sapphire. And we were willing to pay them $1,500 a month. So what did they do? 90 days it went into arrears and was ready to go to collections. The United States government paid it off. They wrote it off. You think I'm lying? No, hold on a second. This is one of those things. Remember, we let it wash over people.
Yeah.
$42,000 Chase Sapphire wrote it off because the United States government used COVID money to go ahead and consolidate credit card debt for Americans. I didn't ask for that. I found out, I called Chase and they said there's no longer an account in this number. You have your other Chase card, but this Chase Sapphire account's been closed. And I said, it's not even on my credit report. I said, you didn't even put a negative strike against my credit report. In fact, my credit report went up. Who did this? Who authorized this? Who approved this? They said Chase Sapphire, along with other credit card companies, received lump sums. And we established those high accounts that were in a certain amount of money as a write-off for our company. And the United States government did it. You paid for that. There's nothing I can do about that. I can't pay it back. There's nothing to pay. Now you're like, Matt, how lucky are you? That's not what it's about.
No.
I didn't celebrate this. I didn't want that. I wanted them to work with us, and they wouldn't. And I said, well, you guys, I can't give you what you want, but here's what I can do for 1 year. And I'm asking you to seize the interest on the card, to close the account, and I will make payments. And here's what I can do. They refused. So I ask you the question, where's that money? Where did it come from? Who authorized that? Who approved it? There was no, I didn't have to jump through any hoops. I didn't have to apply for it. It was literally written off by Chase and substituted for government money and taxation. If that's what you consider to be a sound investment to America, I don't. I think that is completely haphazard. I think it's irresponsible. I think it's dangerous. And I think it lacks credibility, and it literally makes people unincentivized to own the debt that they have. I have never not paid a debt in my life. Go ahead, Leroy.
Well, to your point, I was just going to bring up the fact that last year, government tax revenue inbound because of taxes was $4.5 trillion. But what they spent was $6.1 trillion. And so long as there's always going to be that disparity there, we're never going to get out of this hole.
No.
And we are literally doomed. And this isn't just Democrats. This isn't just a Republican talking point. This is everyone who gets to that level has screwed us by way of just spending us into oblivion.
Frederick, I haven't had a chance.
And it's things like that. It's things like what you're just describing with these.
Yeah, and for the people who are like, I'm not going to donate to the show because Matt got $42,000 for free. No, that's not what happened. This was during the heart of COVID. Yeah, I can bring Olivia in. She'll tell you the story. It was absolutely insanity. Absolutely insanity. And if you remember, Chase actually worked with us. And if you guys remember, there was a knock on the door on the show one time, and it was serving us papers, and they were saying, listen, if you pay this amount, we'll work with you. So COVID hurt a lot of people. It hurt us too. But I guess maybe I shouldn't have told that story when we were down on goal. $133 is where we're at, folks. That was years ago. But the point is
I didn't get anything from that. Nothing.
Well, a lot of people.
I ended up still having to go to work in the skiff at night because they wouldn't let me work during the day. And so I'd go in there at night in a gigantic empty room, do what I was supposed to do. And I swear to God, that building is haunted. And I was the only one in there. And then I'd come home at like 3 o'clock in the morning every day, still went into work. No excuses. That sucked.
It's like, I don't listen. This is baffling to me because I don't understand. I didn't apply. Can you sit down for a second and just, we have a couple questions on the Chase Sapphire card.
Okay.
So Olivia will tell you she was dealing with all the collections for this, and what happened with the Chase Sapphire card. And folks, we desperately need to hit goal. We can't miss. So we need some help. We want to stay late. We want to go into overtime. If you haven't had a chance to help out the show, $5 helps. $10 helps. It helps the show. If you can give us a shot. Go ahead.
Okay, so the Chase Sapphire card, yeah, we couldn't pay it because we had put half the move on it from Texas to out here,
and it was a temporary thing. So it was literally, the card was at zero, and the move was like $27,000 because we had to move. I don't know how many tons. It was a full freaking truck across country.
And your company only paid for like half the move, and we had to pay for the other half. And we added the We had added the deck to the house. That was one of the expenditures.
Right.
And
it was literally going to be paid off the next month when they reimbursed us. We had everything laid out.
Yeah. And it's not like we've had this card since Hayden was 2. And it started out at $6,000. And we maxed it on our Disneyland visit and we paid it off in 6 months.
Yeah.
And then we maxed it out again and then paid it off again. And then they upped us again and it went up to $35,000 is what they slowly got us up to. And so we maxed out the card with the move and getting stuff for the new house. And we had I had made a $1,200 payment and then 2 weeks later made another $1,200 payment. And then all of a sudden COVID hits and I was about ready to make another $1,200 payment. And luckily I missed the payment because the next day you didn't get laid off, but it was your pay went down 85%.
Nope. Oh, 85%.
85%. We went from him making triple digits to under what I made when I worked at like a gas station.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like, okay, well, it's a good thing I didn't make that payment, but I called them and they put us on like a 3 or 4 month deferral with all of our other bills, which everyone was amazing.
And we paid every one of them.
And we paid everyone. But this Chase card, it was like, well, your payment's $850. And we're like, well, we didn't have an issue with that when you saw we made $2,400 payment in 4 weeks and that we were about to make another one. You saw that. We can't afford it right now. We're just asking for this. And they refused. And then they're like, okay,
I think we offered them $500 for 1 year. And they if they could turn the interest off, which the other Chase card did, the exact same thing.
Yeah. And they wouldn't turn off the interest. So it was like, okay, your payment's $850. And the next month they're like, your payment's $1,700. We're like, why? Well, because your interest on the $850 hit. We're like, whoa. So it went from, I think we were at 28, it went to like 36 in a matter of less than 6 months.
Right.
And then we're like, we can't take this. And they're like, okay. And then all of a sudden it was just gone. Like the account, we're like, well, we're going to have to close your card. And we're like, we understand that. We don't want to spend any more money.
We don't want you to, we understand you have to send us to collections, even though we're trying to make good faith and it's over 10%. Well, like, as long as you pay 1% of your overall credit, they can't send you to collections. We're like, we're actually trying to pay 7.5% of this thing. You can't.
But they wouldn't accept it.
And then all of a sudden, listen, it's not on my credit report. It's not in Chase. They can't even find it. They can't even access the account. That is the weirdest fucking thing ever.
Yeah, not one
Chase,
letter for collections, not one letter for a lawyer, not one letter for anything.
Nothing.
It was, we're closing the account. It was all of a sudden, I have no access to it anymore. Can't see it on my Chase account. And then all of a sudden it's gone and it's nowhere to be seen.
And I think the reason why is the penalty, because the United States government started freezing interest and overall payments. And I think what Chase was doing, they illegally, during a time of crisis, like started adding compounded interest and changed the APR, because Olivia's right. They added like $17,000 in interest to our account. And we're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this is insanity. But no matter what, that poofed and disappeared.
It went gone. It went bye-bye.
All right. So I just wanted to tell you the story. Thank you.
Cool. You're
Love
welcome.
you.
Love you.
Leroy, give you a quick update here. Beckwith looks like they have won in 10th district. Love you. Looks like Olivant won, McGuire won in 5th district, and Mississauga won in the Senate. Michigan, too early to call. Haley Stevens is starting to close the gap. It's 52.3 to 44.7. Mike Rodgers won. Congratulations, Mike Rodgers, unaccosted. But that race is now tightening, and this leads me to believe, if I go to the county results, let's break it down real quick, folks. We're in crisis mode. 133.09. As far as donations, haven't seen this in a long time ago. Anything on Scott Lebedo?
Is it me?
What do you mean? What do you mean, Scott Lebedo? What does that mean? What about Scott?
He just posted a picture. He's in a hospital bed. Looks like he's giving a thumbs up, though.
Can you find out what you hear so I can do this real quick? So if we take a look, thank you, bud.
Oh, that's not a thumbs up. He's giving the he's giving
the finger.
I love him.
So you're seeing a lot of these counties are going towards El Said. So we're going to have to just keep an eye on it and watch it. Folks, we got to take a commercial. I'm just going to give it a couple minutes, and hopefully we hit a miracle. So we're going to go ahead and do this. Maybe we're not.
What the hell is that? It's a boy on a broom? Well, don't open the window. Bloody hell!
Muggles, I'm sorry for using magic outside of Hogwarts, but I'm in dire need. Have any of you Muggles seen my golden ball?
Did you just say he's looking for his gold balls? I think he said golden ball.
Right you are. You two are very bright witches.
You really are the brightest witch of your age.
Did he just call us bitch?
It's a Harry Potter movie. You have to keep it PG-13.
You know my name? I am Harry Potter. That means you know where it is.
No, we haven't seen it.
Well, you can buy a new one at the Dumb Show. You get 10% off for using code DUMB10.
Bloody brilliant! 10 points to Gryffindor.
Did he just call us Griffin whores?
If you want to take part in more adventures, you too can donate to The Dumb Show. You can go to thedumbshow.com/donate. We take PayPal, Venmo, credit card, and you can even send us an owl at P.O. Box 2, Round Hill, Virginia 20142. Please make sure to leave your name and a message, and we will share it on the next show. Live weekdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And remember, oh, them Dumbledore sent you too.
Okay, seriously? What's a Fumblesaur?
Folks, thanks for doing that. We've got one last video to do, and we're hoping to add a few minutes to this. But yeah, we can't stay past 9, especially when we're not hitting gold. Just a really bad night compared to last night. Last night was so quick. I think what happens, Chuck's used to say it best, is if you guys are waiting for the Friday jacket drawing, it doesn't make the jacket drawing any good, because if we constantly lose throughout the week and don't hit goal, it makes the jacket drawing useless. And that's costing us more and more, because the jackets are not cheap, and neither is the shipping and handling. I think it was $75 for the shipping and handling for 2 jackets and the flag. So, we're hoping to hit it. So we've got just a couple minutes left. We're going to play a quick video or two, and it sucks because we build a show for 2.5 hours, but we're not going to be able to hit it tonight. Here is Michael Knowles and on Cuomo in regards to Elon Musk, and I thought this was fantastic what he had to say. If you haven't had a chance, folks, go to thedumbshow.com/donate. It helps up. It helps out. And I guess that credit card story during COVID wasn't a good one to tell, but I've told it before, but probably wasn't a good idea, because obviously not hitting it tonight. Here is Knowles on Cuomo.
But this guy just rigged the elections. He worked the immigration system. That's why he got through it. Because he fraudulently got his way through.
Chris, how did he rig the election?
You don't hear what the
I thought we're not election
the Wisconsin election. So the Wisconsin election board, you don't believe them?
Yeah, I haven't seen any federal cases against Elon Musk for election rigging.
Hey, Bubba, thanks so much. $20 from Bubba puts us halfway there. Bubba coming in. Dairy Queen or Whataburger? Whataburger. I'm gonna go. Like, Leroy, what do you think? Dairy Queen or Whataburger?
Gotta go DQ.
Okay, DQ. Are those my only 2 options? Because Blake's Lotta Burger in New Mexico is actually pretty damn good too. And if I had to say anything, it would have been Hi Ho Burger in Ventura, California before it closed down. God, those are the greatest hamburgers in the world. I'm going to go with Whataburger over Dairy Queen. Yeah. So here's the rest of this video. Watch it. Thanks, Bubba, for helping out.
Thank
you, Bubba.
Below Mike Bloomberg's, below Tom Steyer's, both Democrat donors. So Elon Musk has donated a lot to elections. That's great. But don't forget this idea that Elon Musk has made money on politics. Elon Musk got decimated in his businesses because he got involved with Doge in the campaign. The National Bureau of Economic Research says that Tesla sales were down by 83% because he got involved. That was tens of billions of dollars. We know that his X contribution to preserve free speech, he lost 75% on that.
Also a crappy
He's
car.
lost a lot of money in politics.
It's also a crappy car.
No, it's not. JD still will donate $15. Couldn't be on much tonight, but here's to the work you put in anyway. Thank you, JD. We love you. We appreciate you, folks. That helps. A little bit better. We're getting a little bit closer. Would be nice to we just crush this thing real quick and hit it, so we can go ahead and focus on the rest of the show.
Okay, I think that's part of what's hurting Tesla also.
I
But
can't help
here's
but
what I'm
notice a
saying.
lot of people loved buying those cars until he got into politics.
This guy got through an immigration system that if he weren't a rich white guy from South Africa, he may be getting dragged out of his car at a traffic stop and getting his ass beat with people like you applauding.
That is so lame.
The emotional
Do you
arguments
really
are so
think-
stupid.
do you
Hold on.
really
Cheryl
think
Brandis, here's a little something, $5. Thank you very much, Cheryl. $125 away. Come on, folks. Let's just kick this thing in the ass. Please, kick it in the ass. Go for it, Leroy.
I can't stand arguments like that, because that makes it sound like every foreigner who came here legally or not, right, that Michael Knowles would applaud them getting pulled out of their car. And that's plainly not true. 99.9% of everyone I've ever heard make a similar argument, it's always about the illegal immigrants. Elon didn't come here illegally. He came here legally. So that's a stupid argument.
And to sit here and say that Elon Musk, when you ignore George Soros, when you ignore George Soros has put in almost $765 million. Right. That is an ungodly amount of money. Zuckerberg put in 400 million. Bloomberg put in like 73 million. Gates put in 60 million, and you're going to argue about Elon Musk. Listen, I agree. Citizens United should be abolished. I don't believe there should be anything but small contributions of families of two, $2,500 per, $5,000 maximum per household. That's it. I don't think I think super PACs should be abolished. I think special interest groups should be abolished. I think activists should no longer be able to go ahead and be on Washington, D.C. grounds. But that's not up to me. Citizens United says that money is speech, and I don't think it is in any way, shape, or form. I don't think a corporation should be voting when each one of those people in that corporation have singular votes to be accounted for. Why should a corporation have speech through money? I don't agree. It's not a person. So let me ask you a question. If I go ahead and I decide to go ahead and create the Virginia Coalition of America, and I decide to go ahead and put millions of dollars in fundraising into a candidate in Oregon, are you okay with that? Because that's what's happening. So I don't believe people who live in New York City or California should fuck with my elections in Virginia. $25, Robert Petrowski. Thank you, Robert. Not too late. Let's go. No, it's not too late. We're almost there. We're at 200. We need $100. $100 to hit goal. We're trying tonight, folks. I'm doing the best that I can, but we got to hit this son of a gun. What do you think about that? Do you think Citizens United should be repealed? Do you think corporations should have speech? We've had this argument. I know that at one point you're like,
we
yes,
have had
they
this
should.
argument, and it really is a double-edged sword, because on one hand, I don't think that I have the right to tell a corporation what they can and can't do with their money. But on the other hand, right, the government shouldn't have their hand open, willing to take these gobs full of money from unknown entities, right?
Right.
Just as you pointed out, from across state lines. Maybe that's the.
Let me ask you the question.
If you were gonna attack that from either end, I would say then the more logical thing would be to stop it at the government end, to stop that kind of. Loretta Lewis donated $10. Says, I challenge other cool ladies with good husbands.
That'd be nice.
That's good, Loretta. Yeah.
Loretta, thank you, sweetie. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Folks, 208, might as well call it 210, $90 away. Let's go. Hey, let's hit it. We're already here, so let's just hit this fucking thing so we can take this into 9:30 and put it to bed. Here's a question for you. Do you think the United States government should take money from the Ku Klux Klan?
No.
Do you think they should take money from the mafia?
No. Only, and I'll preface that by saying
individuals.
Only if it's being taxed. Like if that's how they're collecting it.
Well, you know they're not. They're not taking tax revenue on illegal income.
Right.
So, but at an individual level, if someone's a member of a mafia, should you collect their tax or their campaign contribution?
No.
Okay. So then why are we taking money from Verizon? Right, there we go. Mel Lowe, $125. Missed the jacket entry. You didn't miss the jacket entry. Fuck, we'll put in 4 of them for you. I mean, at this point, I don't care. We love you. Mel, thank you so
Mel.
much. We're going to stay on. I'll stay on a little bit late for that. That's worth it, folks. Let's hit it. That was a brutal one. You guys made me hang. I can't even speak. You made me hang on there. I was feeling like I was Stacey. Who sang that? Kylie Minogue. You keep me hanging on. Whatever it is. You keep me. It's okay. You don't have to know the song, but you do need to know that we hit goal. Olivia is happy. You guys can go if you want to celebrate by picking yourself up the beautiful and the amazing. Well, hold on. Almost out.
Change.
Oh, my graphics on my desktop. That was going to look so cool, too. The
Thumbs up.
2,977 shirt is available.
Go.
And it is for the 25th anniversary of 9/11. You can go to the Dumb Store. You can save 10%. It's available right now. It's available in hoodie. It's in a T-shirt. It's in everything. Go take a look. And please consider helping the Don't Unfriend Me store. Picking up some coffee, some hats, whatever. Olivia wants you to go do that. And we can't wait to make one of these for Leroy when he comes back. When he flies out here at some point in the near future. We're going to have to do that again. So we agree, Citizens United. So here, let me finish my thoughts on Citizen United real quick. I wasn't setting you up for a trap. We don't think we should take money from the mafia. We don't think we should take money from the Ku Klux Klan. And my point is, what's the difference with Verizon when they went ahead and serviced illegal wiretaps on Republicans? What do we do with Facebook and Apple and Microsoft, who all worked for the government as an entity of a spying agency by taking our personal information, our personal texts, and providing them, creating backdoor software to spy on us? Are these not illicit and illegal activities according to the Constitution and our privacy rights?
I think that clearly they are. And something else to be said is that, just because we're making the argument that the government shouldn't be taking this money doesn't mean that if Verizon or if, Parker Hannifin or Tesla, if any of those people go ahead and donate to a political candidate individually, isn't that just as wrong?
Yeah, I mean, if you contribute in spying on Americans, that's illegal. So what's the difference between the Southern Poverty Law Center giving money to the KKK, but then donating money to the Democrat candidates from the taxes that they get kicked back from them on decisions Democrats make? So in my opinion, all of these things, what are you getting for your money? Good politics is not the answer. The answer is what you're getting for your money is open access to the government, and the government is gaining access to spying on Americans or having these companies commit illicit activity in the United States, which is breaking the Constitution. So is that not something we should consider? And this is why I think speech should not be money. If you want to go ahead and give corporations certain rights for representation at a different level, and you want to have special interest groups represent these corporations by not giving money, but having a voice, giving them more time because they represent more constituents, well, that's a policy decision, and that's a time of how you're going to spend your scheduling and bookkeeping of your own personal time. That's fine. But if you're going to take hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars from somebody, you're selling access And what that is an imbalance that the standard individual cannot gain the same access as the collective. And that is what killed the Senate in Greece. It killed it in Rome and will ultimately kill the United States, which is greed and power, slake the lust of the actual republic that we're supposed to be, with individual rights being paramount. That's why Citizens United should be absolved, my opinion.
Agreed. At the beginning of the show, we talked about transactional relationships, and we talked about, I forgot how we even ended up on that topic, but the point was that there are some relationships, Matt had brought it up, that are in fact transactional. He was having a problem with somebody who maybe was asking him for a favor, and then that stretched into 2 favors and maybe 3 favors. And then all of a sudden that flow only seemed to be going one way. Okay. But the point is that those are transactional relationships. Now, the question is, should those same transactional relationships continue by way of corporate sponsorship or corporate entities into politics? And I think that's where we have to draw the line. That's where we have to say no, because at some point, because every relationship is transactional, that means that there's something going both ways. If I'm giving you this money, you're doing something for me. That is not representative for the people. At that point, you're eliminating the general American public from that equation, and you're introducing this idea that nope, now GE or now Ford is part of that transaction that in some way influences policy that is supposed to help or look after the general public. And I think that that's where we have gone astray. That transactional relationship shouldn't exist. If you're going to have a transactional relationship, just like you do with the government right now, they provide you something and you give them taxes, right? Fine, I can get behind that. But now you're introducing this third party. And it's a third party that is faceless. You don't know necessarily who it was, right? Robin Williams had a great joke where he talked about, really think the politicians should wear their sponsors on their jackets like NASCAR. And he's not wrong. If there's going to be this transactional relationship, at least tell us who the hell it is. I want to know who the sponsors are that are behind the politicians that are running today. And I think enough of that. It's time to call that crap to an end. It doesn't do the American taxpayer or the American voter, it doesn't do them any good, right? It just convolutes the process. And in 1 year, when it's the left who's in charge, then it's the right who's casting that blame, and it's vice versa when it's the other way around, right? And we just need to end all that.
Very sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
You're
go
fine.
ahead if you have anything else.
Nope, that's it.
I have an update on Scott Lebedo.
Yeah, what happened?
So he collapsed from a medical emergency, and he was at the Staten Island National Night Out at the Midland Beach Boardwalk. The chest compressions were performed. He was alert when EMS arrived, and he's receiving care in hospital. That's all the information I have right now, and was given to me. So we're praying. I've reached out to Scott and his manager and expressed our love and our prayers. And I would appreciate it if we could all just take a second and wherever we're at, and we'll just join in a quick prayer for a good friend of the show. Okay. As my uncle would say, Leroy, take off your fucking hat. So, my uncle works vicariously through me. Let's all take a second and just bow our heads. Scott Lebedo is an American patriot. He is the relentless patriot. He is a wonderful man who has been on the show. We all respect him greatly. We love his cantankerous and vulgarity, but he has a poetic nature about him, a Renaissance man, a true Renaissance man, who is not afraid to speak out for the people who do not have a voice. He is a loving and caring human being, and Lord, we just ask that you please watch over him with your grace and with your healing hand is to protect him. We would be a lesser planet and country without him. So we would ask that you protect him and have your angels watch over him tonight and in the future. And we appreciate you being a merciful, kind, and loving Lord. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Scott, we love you, buddy. Get better soon. We need more of what you do.
Yeah, he's such a good dude. And
I like this. I kind of,
it actually looks really good. You should do it
I may
more
go
often.
hatless from now on.
Dude, you've got a beautiful head. You should show it off. It's like a baby's ass. It's amazing. Yeah, you guys, you can go to his page. There's a picture of Scott. I'll share it with you. It looks like they're on it. He's in the ER. He's under good, strong quality care. There's a picture of him. And in typical Scott fashion, giving the fingal-fickered salute to everybody. Yeah, we'll pray for him. But listen, he smokes. He's high tense. I would say hyperthyroid is probably in his life, and the man lives an intensity. And I know, like my father, this will not take him down. My father had 4 heart attacks, open heart surgery, 2 strokes, and still was walking. Scott Lebedo reminds me of a person who will continue to smoke a pack a day until the day he dies, and probably drink 7 pots of coffee and eat steak and red meat, and he'll still live longer than me. Yeah. Hey, let's take it out with this. This is, if you haven't surfed the North Shore or Pipeline or Backdoor in Hawaii, it's okay. Not everybody is a Point Break type person or was a Hawaii 5-0 aficionado. But I do know surf culture because I grew up on the ocean. I grew up in California. I've surfed Oahu. I've been in Hawaii. I've been to the North Shore, Backdoor, Waimea. I've surfed in Australia, Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, the South Jetty, Dog Beach, Florida, Virginia Beach, Myrtle Beach, bodyboarded. I love the ocean. And although I have not done any of that since I was a boy, I do love the surf, and it's an amazing thing. But there is a code. And you don't go in that water in certain territories, whether it be the South Jetty, whether it be Pierpont, whether it be Huntington Beach. If you're not a local, you're going to get your freaking leash cut, and you're probably going to get your nose splattered across your face. If you're out in that wave and you're hogging waves and you're cutting people off and you're being a complete dick. This is no more true than in Hawaii, where you are a haole. And as a haole who's 6'4" and probably was 210 during these days, I demonstrated respect because I did not want to roll up on coral. I didn't want someone snaking their board over my back and putting me into a coral bed. I didn't want to have my leash wrapped around my neck and my nose splattered across my face. I didn't want somebody literally knifing my board and puncturing a hole in it and then no more surfing. So I always, and I grew up on California waters, and as a boogie boarder and a surfer, I will tell you surfers do not like boogie boarders. And if you're going to go out in those waters, especially big wave surfing, you don't fuck around. And the other thing you don't do is you never claim wave or claim ownership to a wave that's not yours, and you certainly don't disrespect Native women in Hawaii. That is not a good idea for the Pacific Islanders. Those people will cut you, and they will dump you 30 miles offshore, and they'll never find your body. This guy is a Democrat candidate. His name is Kirill Basin, and he pulled a knife, called an Islander a bitch, and ceremoniously got knocked the fuck out. And this guy...
Accidents happen.
This guy deserved everybody. People are like, they're racist. They called him a haole. No. If you're acting that way, you are. I'm sorry. And this whole thing, you can't say racial shit. It's not about your skin color. It's that you're an asshole. And this guy is the quintessential haole. And he got his face drilled for it. We'll be putting this up on the show. Here it is.
Come up to him and say, hey, put your bag away, bro. Put your bag away. I told him if he wants to go to the...
So they simply told him to turn down his music. He's a Democrat congressional candidate. And he threatened a man with a knife after he was asked to lower the volume of his music at the beach. He tried fighting, but was immediately knocked out. This is a larger picture of this douche nugget. And all I can say is, just on his look alone, deserves to be knocked out.
What the hell is that in his beard?
I think barrettes are... I don't know, but here is the video of what he did. Mr. Tough Guy.
Come here! It is over. Hey, fuck you!
Hey. Not my girl.
Fuck you!
Not my girls, right? You're not talking about my girls, right?
I don't care.
Don't do that, dude. Don't do
What
that.
are you gonna do?
Go ahead, just go.
What are you gonna do?
Don, go ahead.
Am
go
I?
ahead.
I didn't fucking put him in the ground. I didn't put him in the ground. I put you in the ground. I can't. All right.
Oh, you're gonna hit women now.
Let's go, bro.
Go ahead.
I'm good.
Let him
Do
have
it,
his
motherfucker.
I just said
Mike,
All right, good. It's over. It's over.
He's a child.
I'm a child. I'm 40 fucking years old.
You should act
You're a child.
Doesn't mean anything.
You're a man boy, and you're about to get knocked out.
like that.
ground. Like you will be in the fucking hospital. Bitch. Let's go.
At this moment, you fucked up. First of all, using a collapsible lawn chair as a weapon is retarded. And it's stupid considering you have
assault was a deadly weapon.
You also have a Dremel, which is left of your foot. And if you've decided to go with a physical object in order to win a fight, that's assault with a deadly weapon. You might as well use a weapon that actually might do you some good, like a Dremel, which is right next to you. It's on the floor. It's next to your foot. And what the fuck are you doing with a Dremel at the beach? That's neither here nor there. That was when you fucked up. Dude, you overexposed your reach and you left yourself open. This is an absolute glass jaw. This guy drops him and takes the lawn chair. Because first of all, you going all the way back and all the way forward isn't going to do anything. It's aluminum, bro. It weighs about 10, maybe 12 pounds, and it's hollow. And you could hit him as hard as you want. That guy is 6'4". That guy is 230 pounds, and he's all fucking muscle. And he also knows how to fight. Because if you look at his shoulder and you look at his legs, this guy knows how to throw a punch. And you're about to go lights out. Let's watch it in real time.
Oh, shit. Chair thrower.
Night night.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Yeah. What you fucking about, Holly boy? Yeah? Try to stay right there.
What hit?
Dude, you left yourself wide open, bro. And I'm not saying I would have done any better. I wouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. And I'm not going to go into someone else's neighborhood on someone else's territory and all of a sudden puff up like a bantam rooster when I'm 5'8" and I'm maybe 120 pounds soaking wet. The fact that you even talk shit to this guy makes you the dumbest son of a bitch on a planet. I love how he woke him up. Hey, bud, want to make sure I didn't kill him. Wake up. Wake up. I mean, and that's the way it should be. Somebody lips off. You should be able to say, all right, you know what? He could have just ground and pounded him. This guy obviously was a fighter. He didn't do it. He called him a haole. I don't give a shit. Your thoughts on this?
No, guy got exactly what he had coming to him. You don't talk that kind of crap, especially to women or to other people, you're just lipping off for the sake of trying to puff up, and somebody called you out on it, and good on them for doing it, because more and more bullies that see that kind of thing, maybe they're gonna, I'm gonna relax a little bit here, you know.
Well, listen, you could have ended it with the fist pound when he said it was all good. I mean, listen, you want to be cautious and conscientious. If somebody is like, okay, bro, come on, bro, calm down. If he's calm and collected in this situation, first of all, even if he's an amateur, he's not threatened by you. That should send off an alarm bell. That should tell you that this person isn't an amateur. He's not slinging insults. The only thing is the girls were talking shit, and you decided to continue to talk shit to her man. You're stupid. You deserved it. Yeah. Honestly, I would have bitch slapped you. I wouldn't have hit you. Just a nice slap right across the face. Leroy, take us out and get us out of here, buddy.
Slap.
Yeah. Just a little slap across the kisser. Just when you've already told her once, and you have to tell her again, and she won't stop. Maybe a little slap across the kisser is what she needs. So you think it's good to hit women? No, I didn't say that. But what I did say is when the bitch keeps coming and she won't stop, and you've already told her once.
Yeah.
A good slap right across the kisser.
This is a fun show. This is a really fun show, and something we need to impress upon everybody is to start off earlier. Like if you're liking what you hear and you want to hear more of the, then we need to. I need to make sure that we're less stressed on the show.
It comes down to this: you guys always come through, but the way you do it. It just drives us.
Doing it too.
Yeah. We hit goal. We were going to be here till 9:30 anyway, but it's not always, because last week I left. I'm like, screw it, I'm out of here. I'm just not going to stay. We just want to hit it as fast as we can. I know it's hard. You guys, I don't want to miss it. I don't want to jump over to the donation site. Do you know you don't have to donate during the show? You can donate before the show too. If you don't want to miss anything, just do it before the show. You know what I mean? Listen, we love you guys. Let's go through.
I love everyone who donated. I love you guys.
And who didn't.
Amazing. We have the best audience in all of the internet. Again, August 5th. That's tomorrow. Tyler Fisher. August 7th. We're going to have Damani Felder on the show. He's amazing. Hannah Pruder on August the 12th. August 17th, Lisa Regina. On August 19th, we're going to have Ben Morgan. And finally, on August 25th, Amber Hilliker. So be sure to you guys tune in for those shows. They're going to be amazing.
I appreciate you, Leroy. I want to share one thing, and then we are out of here. Text to Damani Felder. I should create a segment called Text to Damani Felder. They're always the funnest thing when Damani and I text each other. So I'm going to give you a little taste. He basically says, Matt, we're coming out. Can't wait to see you. We're going to bring the wife. We're going to have a vacation. We're going to go to the we're going to go to Vermont and everything else, and we're going to come out to the Blue Ridge Mountains and all that. Will you be here in October? And I said 100%, without a doubt, we'll be here, no matter what. And then later I said, the family is so excited to have you here. We were all thinking we could go as clan for Halloween. What size does your wife wear in hoods? And he goes, last my ass. We both cracked up with that, but seriously, can't wait to get together finally. Aww. So we're all excited.
Dude, so.
Dude, such a good bro. Listen, we'll be back tomorrow. It's going to be, remember, Scott Lloyd, they're going to be in Front Royal. We're going to be here with Tyler Fish. Listen, he's a crack up. You guys hear his Trump impersonation. It's amazing. He's a great dude. Leroy, love you, buddy. Thanks for being here tonight. We'll see you guys mañana at 7 o'clock. Have a good one.
Love you guys.
Thanks. Oh, where are we going? You get out of here. I got to go to Rumble. Where are we going tonight? Where are we going? We're going to go to Ryan Samuels. Oh, shit. I got to stick around for Ryan Samuels. Hold on now. I'll stick around for Samuels. He's my boy, Blue. See you guys, Rumble. Send us out of here. Get us out, Tammy. Let's go see Ryan Samuels over on the Rumble. She's going to get us out of here right now, and we're going to take you guys over. If you don't know, every night we go over and we raid another channel, and we go say hi. So we're going to go see Ryan Samuels. And go say hi to that guy. Because we love Ryan Samuels. There he is.
Fire their weapon once. You'll draw your weapon. You're guaranteed to draw your weapon, but you'll never fire it. That's going for most officers. All right, here's another clip of the shooting.
Still shooting. Oh, dude, they fucking shooting up. Hell yeah.
Everyone hit like, spam, follow.
Hell yeah.
What the?
These are a bunch of idiots in a car that are around there.
Oh, yeah, that nigga got an AK.
Oh, hell yeah, he does. Look at this fucking wacky motherfucker. He got fucking serious fucking gun. Oh, now he's getting a motherfucking. Oh,
he's grabbing another gun.
I don't think he sees us, folks.
We're getting the fuck out of here.
You better get out of here. Hey! Stop shooting! Stop shooting, bitch!
Idiots. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. God bless. Take care of each other. We'll see you soon. Mañana. Thanks for taking care of us. Thanks for helping out. Thanks for donating. See you tomorrow at 7.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.